7 months ago, I joined an all-creator SMP, the Lotus SMP. Since then, we've battled the dragon as a server using nothing but sticks and carrots. I've laid the foundations for a large city. We've converted the Mushroom Island into a beautiful shopping district. We've explored, built, played, died, and much more. This is the story so far. Enjoy. Hey, how's it going? I know what you're thinking. This looks weird. This doesn't look anything like your world. That's because I'm in a new world. I've done a thing. I know. You've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. I joined an SMP. Don't worry, the old school Let's Play world is here to stay, and we'll still be checking back in there. But for now, I've got an opportunity to play with some really cool people and do some really cool stuff. And I couldn't say no. The videos won't look different, except for, there may be 1 or 2 more shenanigans taking place. Other than that, it's the same old me, just in a different world. And I think it's best to get back to the beginning to get you guys caught up on where we are now. And of course, as things always start on SMPs, we did introductions. Then we did a little spelunking right near the spawn, and then we went on a beautiful journey. And we boated sheep for 45 minutes to bring them here to our camping island, where we quickly learned we didn't need them. But hey, don't take my word for it. Stick around and see what happened. I'll check back in for a future Context Cobb segment.
I have a question.
Yes?
What's wrong with your mouth?
It's fine.
There is nothing wrong with the shaded mouth.
It's fine. It's a good mouth.
Can we get a group picture thing? We got.
Oh yeah, group picture.
It's gonna be in the dark.
Alright. Let's go.
I hope my beard looks good in the lighting. And here we are, separated from the group slightly, but we've got to get geared up. We've got to get started at some point. We'll meet back up with people here eventually, but for now, let's get some tools, get some coal, get ourselves situated. We're going to start out by settling ourselves down in a nice little camping colony. It's so cool to be in a world like this with other people. It's just a totally different feeling to have like actual life in your Minecraft world. Yeah, it's so like there's just people running over there on the hill, and it's pretty cool. It's one thing I really didn't expect when I first started this whole YouTube journey was how many people I would meet along the way, and how many it's so interesting to have other people with a shared experience to you. Well, this is a very different world than our normal survival world. We don't really need to save stuff here, so goodbye wood tools forever. I'll never see them again. I'm just gonna take advantage of having this spawn right here in this kind of convenient area and make ourselves plenty of torches and coal, although we probably should be looking for sheep, honestly. I don't know if we have vote sleep or not on the server, actually. I probably should have asked that question, because there's a chance that we may need everyone to sleep, and if that's the case, there's no chance we're sleeping through this night. There's way too many people on to get that kind of... Look at them just tearing down this forest. I was actually super lucky. 23 coal in the first little chunk here. Get ourselves a nice little stack of torches. What's that, like 44? And that'll leave us a decent amount there left to smelt down whatever iron we find.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Did you just...
Oh, jeez.
You'll never believe it. It just rained down wool and mutton.
You're so welcome. All right, off to find another sheep.
I guess we're not sleeping through this night.
I was killing that one for you guys because I thought it was gonna get away.
Just trying to get up here and get a better bird's eye view of this valley. Like I need to get my bearings. It's a whole new world. I haven't looked at the seed really at all, so we did like an initial kind of screenshot, and people kind of picked, their general locations that they wanted to build in and stuff, but, it's not the same as actually being in the world and seeing the terrain and the variations in height. So our base is going to be over here somewhere, but I don't know exactly. I can't remember where we're planning on building our campsites. That's the big question. Let's just head this way and see if we can meet up with some people. See if they have some more knowledge.
Alright, kill some pigs.
What are the odds of that?
Kill it! No. Or I don't normally eat pigs, but...
I don't normally eat food, but when I do...
It's only to stay
I
alive.
don't normally eat food.
Hey, look, there's Drip.
Drip!
Hi, Drip.
Hi, bye!
Again.
I don't want to alarm you, but there is an arrow shaft in your ear.
Oh, that explains. Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Actually, you both have it in the same ear.
too.
We've attracted some very bad attention, and that boat's not fast enough.
Oh, wait a
Oh,
minute.
no.
It's fast enough if you lead them away.
Have to outrun the bear, just have to outrun you. All right, I'm taking this sheep over to the campground, I think.
I was tempted. tempted by your smile. I was tempted, and for a little while I was certain.
Did you have sailing across the ocean with sheep on your boats on your bingo cards?
No,
it's actually
honestly, no.
the top left corner of my bingo card.
It's the first one.
You will be mine. I was tempted, empty, tempted by your eyes. I was tempted, empty, the promises, the lies just keep hurting. They just keep on hurting, but I won't be the one to change you, and you won't be mine. No, you won't be mine. Like Eve.
We can
Oh,
try to get
you
some
guys-
iron. What's
You
up?
guys brought some
Ooh,
sheep with you.
some sheep. Let me guess. You
We
didn't
assumed
need
there were
them.
none on this
Nope,
island.
Nope, there were like, I've already trapped 2.
Hopefully through very skillful editing and of course the context cob segments, you're able to follow along with what's going on so far. And yeah, the camping island looks a little bit different now, but this is still me from the future. We've got a little bit more catching up to do. In this next part, you initially land on our Plymouth camping. We don't actually have a name for this place yet. I'm still spitballing them. If you think of a good one, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, once we got here, started getting settled, and I decided that I would go for a little spelunking by myself with no armor and poorly resourced. And that led to my inevitable death. Very, very deep underground and with no hope of recovering one single item. And that was a pretty major setback on day 1 of the server. But luckily, while I was down there, I did manage to find a skeleton farm, and I set up our first little rudimentary XP bone meal farm thingy-mabobber for the server, and then someone quickly upgraded it and made it way better. But I found it, and that counts for something. All right, our inventory's a bit of a mess, but we are starting to get a couple of resources here. We are deep in a cave underneath the campsite. Hopefully we don't die down here. We've collected a decent amount of minerals. We're almost a deep slate level. I'm just kind of spelunking beneath the island and found a huge cave system. This will be really handy going forward, but for now it's a little bit scary. Also, it's very narrow. It just seems to keep going, but it is all like this, where it's like 1 block wide. You ever seen those like videos of people like diving down through cliffs underwater? That's what this has felt a lot like. I'm just trying to get kind of our initial resource stuff out of the way. I know in the last series I kind of like took my time, and I think it was like episode 4 before we had full iron armor and stuff, but I just want to get through that part on this one, because this series is less about the world being permanent and the total journey. It's more about experimenting, having fun, and hanging out with other people. It's also kind of learning how to create videos like this in the first place, because it's just not something I've ever really done before, and having other people is just, it's a way more interesting dynamic. But we've got our iron pick. We have no armor, which is a little scary in here. Maybe we'll make some boots or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep collecting iron, getting resources together, and then I'll check back in when we're gonna build our little campsite. I think we're gonna build a cool little tent canopy thing. We're gonna need to find some sheep, and we're gonna need to dye them, because I think I want to make it a blue tent. So we need to find blue dye and some sheep and get them bred up. But for now, I just need to get some iron for buckets and basic starter stuff out of the way. But I'll check back in after I get through a lot of that stuff.
Yep, I believe there were some closer to spawn.
No!
Oh.
What's going on?
Just, dying. Again and again.
Yeah, same. I was really deep underground.
Nice, nice. Hi, Banana.
I just died from a skeleton.
Let's go. I just died from a drowned with a trident.
That's fun.
Hi, Cobb.
Hello.
Wait. We gotta get them boots. We gotta take them with us. We're gonna set up a guillotine.
Do you guys want to come up? Do you guys want to come on a side tangent with us?
A side tangent?
Oh, there's a boat right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We have a boat right here. I don't know who's
Is
it.
that implying that you wouldn't have come if it wasn't like?
Then we have 2 quests: food and guillotine.
Food and guillotine. Yikes.
Let's go.
So is the
Oh, yeah.
food quest that thing
Hey,
you don't
now
want me to know
depending
about?
on what your
Yes.
depending on what your
Okay.
morals are,
Same
those
thing.
could be combined into one thing.
We're not gonna kill the mushrooms, are we?
Yummy
No,
spider eye.
What?
we're talking about like.
Is Kavna coming?
No, I'm not going. You guys are good.
All right.
Okay,
Uh,
like
Onwards.
Bye, Cobb.
Bye.
Bye, Cobb.
You guys just stole his fish.
Oh.
It's fine.
I
What? Don't give it back to him.
He'll live.
when I came over to your house. I dreamt that I was bleeding out, and I woke with you inside of my mouth, and questions of the why and how again.
Hey, Cobb.
What's up?
Would you possibly have any string on you at this very moment?
Oh, I might.
Might possibly have enough string for us to fling Morg into the stratosphere whenever he logs back on?
Oh, that might be doable. How many do we need, you think?
As many fishing rods as we can make.
Oh shoot, my bad.
Oh wow, Jax, vandalizing cobs.
4 of us. I don't think
Nice.
I only have 8 string.
8
Oh,
string,
that's-
that's 4
that's a
bows.
good amount.
Yeah, that's 4 fishing rods. That's doable.
Do you want to join us?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Morg.
How do you get there?
Morg,
Oh,
can
hey,
you do us a
Morg.
favor?
Can you go back AFK? And
Yeah.
Can you just
can you just
disappear
AFK
again?
and go back to where you were?
Go,
Can you go
yeah,
back
just
to
go
where you were
AFK and go back to where
May I
Also,
ask
do you-
the reason?
Do you also happen to have like a stack of blocks or so?
Graphically
So
would be great.
I really want to build a very,
Yeah.
very tall tower.
Yeah, for
Just a 1x1 tower. Yeah,
Yeah,
with our
eyeglass.
with the eyes.
Do you by any hand have like a very heavy object
No.
that appears in cartoons sometimes?
No.
Oh, no, it's nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
All right, remember, he was AFK the whole time.
Yeah, he was.
Alright,
Okay.
so now we just have to wait.
Do we want
for
Banana
him
Boy
to
to count us down?
count us down? We gotta wait for him to not become AFK anymore.
If he's
We're
gotta
gonna
be
watch
here
him
for it.
while he's gone, so he just dies.
Oh man. Good thing my microwave
He's
didn't
back!
burn down my house.
Oh!
Oh wait, Morg did go up. We were so distracted by Jax.
No, I saw
Morg,
it
go
up.
AFK again. Go AFK again, Morg. Alright.
That was
Whee!
an accident.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh,
I mean, that was
perfect.
effective.
Hi, that was. I did not. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to do. Oh. Dang it, not again.
Oh no!
Yeah, no.
Don't missed. I forgot that I don't bounce.
Yeah, you're not as rubbery as you used to
MLG water
be.
bucket.
Would've
Yeah.
been funny if I was
On go or on
Okay,
one?
it's gonna be on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Whee!
Oh!
There was a little bit of
Oh! They're going.
Yeah, I was a little late.
Oh.
Whee! Hello.
He
Hello.
don't.
Don't worry, we got some-
All right, I need to be productive so you can have the last cast on that bad boy.
Let's go. Thank you, Cobb.
And finally, after all that and all the shenanigans and all the distractions, we finally got around to building our starter tent. It's nothing special, it's nothing beautiful, but it holds all our stuff and it let us build next to all these cool people. Just look at, you gotta see their videos to get the full view and the full sightings, but it is so interesting how everyone's different styles and methods all mend together and just create such a diversity. I mean, the only theme we had was, camping and tents, and people went everywhere with it. There's a couple absolutely amazing RVs, definitely worth checking out. Some pretty amazing builds. But once we got through all those shenanigans, got all materials gathered, built ourselves a nice little starter tent just to hold our stuff for episode 1. I think in episode 2, we're gonna build our actual starter base, which won't even be near this island. But this was a really good chance to just meet everyone, build in the same location, kind of get a feel for everyone's style, and I don't know, I'm really glad we did this. It was a good way to get an intro to the server, see a bunch of people, participate in a bunch of stuff. I mean, it was like every 2 seconds I felt like someone was walking by and something cool was happening, and I couldn't possibly include it all here. But again, I'm sure if you go and look at some of the other perspectives, you'll see all of that. But let's get to the build. Let's get to our beautiful blue tent, which you've already seen in the background if you were paying attention. And there it is, our tent to help us survive the early game. It's not our quote-unquote starter base, but it is our little place to rest our head for the first few nights, we'll call it. This is actually still day 1 of the server release, but again, we're trying to build this cool little camping island, and everyone's putting up their tents and their little huts. We're just kind of mingling and getting to know each other, and It's been a really great experience. It's so cool to play in a world with other people. I think I've said that like 5 times now, but there's just something about actual life going on in the world. And every time you turn around, there's another portal, there's an enchant table. You turn around again, all of a sudden there's a whole other building that someone else put up. When you're so used to playing in a single player world, and the only things that appear are the things that you make, it's just very refreshing to see other people doing stuff in the world. And I'm loving it so far. Hopefully it's coming across for you too. I've never edited or created a video in a setting like this. I have way more hours of footage because you just really never know when stuff's gonna happen. So bear with me on the timeline of the videos for the next few weeks. I'm hoping to be able to maintain my once a week schedule, but until I get like a rhythm and a real, you know, design for these videos, I really don't even know like the kind of like shape of the video, right? Like my videos typically follow a similar format, but this one's probably gonna be way different. And I would imagine it's gonna take me a little bit to find my stride here, but if you can bear with me, I promise the videos are just gonna get better over time. And you're gonna get to meet all these cool people that I've met. It's one of the biggest surprises I've had since starting to do this YouTube thing is that you meet so many people, and it's so cool to have so many people that you can talk to that have the same interests and the same situations that you're in. And yeah, I'm just really liking it. And hopefully you're liking the video. And maybe you want to subscribe to the video. I don't know. That's just an idea. All right, let's get some more tidying up done. We got all our stuff in our chest too. We're all organized. You know, it doesn't look organized because it's literally just a pile of chests and barrels, but I promise you, there's a method to the madness. Oh, I missed a spot. I didn't want the grass under here. Let me get this before I forget. I'll throw some carpets in there too. Where did I put my carpets? Oh, carpets are the one thing not in our chest pile. We have a sheep hole over here. Everyone needs a sheep hole. We needed a lot of blue wool, so there's probably like 50 sheep down there because I just got tired of shearing them and waiting for them to eat, so I just bred them until I had enough to get a lot of wool all at once. Let's slip this in here, just like that. All right, maybe I should expand this carpet out some. No, I don't think so. I think it looks pretty good as like a square in the middle. Imagine like if it was raining outside, you wouldn't want your carpet near the edges. I mean, this thing isn't exactly protected on the edges. Even a strong wind and some rain and you're getting wet in here, but that's fine. We can suspend our beliefs for now. Honestly, this is all I had planned to do. I didn't expect to get it all done in the first night of recording, but I mean, it was a bit of a grind. We did lose all of our stuff once, but hey, we got a skeleton spawner built, we got our tent built, we got all of our stuff organized, and we got just some basic crops going over there. But I mean, someone else built an enchant table, so that's done for us. We got instant XP. We don't have very much iron, because again, I lost all my stuff, but we do have one set and a sad iron pickaxe left, but we can enchant some stuff maybe. I haven't even gone into the deep state levels to look for diamond yet, honestly, but I probably should work on that soon. But for now, I think this is a good start to Season 3 of Lotus. You made it this far in the video. I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one.
Messed up, you are. Got me singing like I'm Yoda. You is, we aren't good company to each other. Narrator of my dreams, make it make sense. On the outside, I don't seem like anything less. Will someone ever tag along for the ride? Listen to your favorite tune in your car. Why try to change me now? Time based, but no time for us. Low bitch, bad boys, too scared to get me down. I trust my mama, you're no match for my bad karma. Broken shards of glass on our tongues. I'm far too scary to be what you like. Will someone ever tag along for the ride? Will someone ever tag along for the ride?
Hey, how's it going? As you can see, we've moved on from Camper Island, happy campers as we call ourselves, and I'm gonna start working on our actual base location. First things first, we need to build ourselves like a really solid starter base, and starter base in the sense that it's going to actually more be our base of operations for the season. So I want this building to accomplish a few things. It needs to have access to all of like the important crafting blocks and things like that, because I want to be able to be inside of this build anytime I'm prepping for like a future build. I want to be inside of this like base of operations. It's not a huge build. I've toyed around with the design some in creative, so I've got a pretty idea of what it's going to look like size wise, and it's going to fit right here on this little peninsula. I've started to kind of clear this area out. We've also planted some crops, and we've got cows and sheep started. We've got some basic things started, but the biggest thing is I want this building to be like where we kind of always come back to when we start working on the next part of our kind of base expansion. Our base is going to take place way over here in this huge area behind this little knoll here, which is all still wooded and not chopped down, and a bunch of terraforming has to take place. But first things first, we need like a solid base of operations here, or a home base for us to put all of our storage and crafting blocks and all the important stuff, anything we want to keep, you know, unique stuff that we find throughout the season, we want to be able to keep here in our little base. So that's going to go right here on the water. That's going to help us with a few things. The island, the Mushroom Island in the middle of this giant ocean, and that's kind of where all the trades are going to happen. So if we put our base here, that gives us pretty straightforward access to the island. We will have a nether hub and tunnels eventually, but for now, it's really not that long of a boat ride. It's kind of just past the render distance there, and that's going to give us pretty easy access to that, as well as, you know, our neighbors on either side of us. It'd be nice to be able to kind of ride down the coast real quick and visit people, and then we'll expand our base deeper into the forest here. We've already knocked out a few things. We've got cows, we've got sheep, we've got wheat. You know, you saw we had the little camper island, so we've got our gear done. We're not fully enchanted or anything. Like, these just have nothing enchants on them, and they're about to break, honestly. We found a dog just when we were clearing out this little area right here, and we also built, hold on a second, guess no one's gonna sleep. There we go. And we also went over here and we built a nice little iron farm to get us started. And this thing has been running because I've been AFK a bunch, apparently. I think I emptied it out very recently. Oh god, he's set me on fire. That's unfortunate. That's why you keep water on you at all times. And also wear your armor, but I don't like to keep mine on when I'm doing these intro sections, so deal with it, I guess. But yeah, we built a little iron farm. It's not that dissimilar to the ones that I put inside of our gatehouses on the old school Let's Play series. I kind of just put a roof on it and left it open so you could see the iron golem spawn. Then you just have your 3 villagers in here with a zombie trapped in the back. Hey, we can poke a little hole actually, see if these guys are doing all right. Looks like everyone's still alive. Our zombie's still back there jumping up and down. Bob's your uncle. It's pretty straightforward, pretty basic iron farm, but this thing is just running because, again, our base of operations is going to be right there. So this thing is just going to be running all the time that we're online, so we should have no issues with iron for this season. Like I said, I just emptied that, but it was full to the point that all of the hoppers going up on the inside were also full of iron, and I just crafted it all up into blocks. Eventually here, we'll probably use that brand new auto crafter and make these kind of auto craft into blocks right at the crafter. One thing that'll let us not have to check it as often, and also it's just kind of cool to use that, and that's how I end up storing them anyway. I mean, we already have enough iron that we're probably not ever going to need anymore, but if we ever did, that thing's over there making it up for us. And as you can see, we've got a decent little chest monster going here because I brought everything we had on the Happy Campers Island, as well as anything else I've gathered while setting up this area, and I've just started throwing everything into chests. I kind of started messing around with some redstone stuff. I've got, you know, basic plants and food, stone, wood, it's all here. But we need to get our base built so we can get it into the actual storage room. These 2 chests specifically, actually this chest specifically, this is most of our base. The only thing I'm missing, unfortunately, is actually calcite blocks. I haven't found like a good geode that was kind of not in public land, as I would call it. I don't want to destroy someone else's geode if they're gonna end up using it in the future, so I wouldn't tear that down. So we need to find 1 geode. I might go for a little swim and try to find some real quick, or maybe we'll do a little bit more strip mining. We do have a kind of rudimentary mine entrance. Again, not dissimilar to what I set up on the old school world. That's just how I like to do them. You have your really long drop. You have the medium short drop for like iron and coal, and then a bubble elevator that they both can take to shoot you up to the surface. We'll build this up and decorate it more. Honestly, we may just cover this up completely, and I may incorporate the mine entrances right into our base of operations, because I think that could just be cool. And again, I want this to be your one-stop shop for getting stuff done. So, talked about it enough. We've got all the resources. Let's go ahead and get our base built so we can get this season really underway and anchor ourselves in this world. Let's get to it.
On anything. And I'll take care of you along the way. My love, one day
And here it is. Our starter base, or as I like to refer to it, our base of operations. It's mostly tough bricks, tough blocks, and then I think it's chiseled tough is one of them. And then I can't remember, it's like polished chisel or I don't know. There's chiseled tough bricks, and then there's one other variant that is also a chiseled. It might just be chiseled tough. As you can see, we cleaned up our little chest monster here. We've got it all moved into the house. We do not have an interior yet. And we will go look at that, and I've got some stuff to walk you through, but I think I may have planted all this wheat between time lapses. I can't remember. I know I forgot to record the last like 30 minutes, which was just me like moving the stuff and doing touch-ups here out front. And I also did some work in the basement, which I forgot to record, unfortunately, but I'll walk you through all that. The basement is going to be like a key component to our little base of operations here. I'm going to try to put a lot of essential stuff down there, and you'll see that here in a minute. But yeah, I built this little pathway going down here. We'll probably build a little dock for our boats, because as you can see over here, you got Skipper's house there, and I believe you got Pineapple's base is one of these islands. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I think Skipper built these little signposts, which kind of point in the direction of everyone's base, and a kind of a communal nether portal looks like for those two over there. Yeah, we got a nice little walk-up path. We've got easy boat access. Happy Camper Island is over there in that direction, and then the trade district is kind of diagonal that way. Actually, I can just show you on the map. The trade district is up here on the Mushroom Island, and then the Happy Camper Island is kind of straight out east from us. But let's take a walk up here and look inside of our beautiful home. I love this little, like, it's almost got like a lighthouse feel to it. I didn't want to go like straight up lighthouse, but I wanted it to make sense kind of like as a coastal build. So here it is. It's very rustic. I really wanted to use the new tough blocks. Originally, my idea was to go with just stone bricks, but now that we're in 1.21, I just had to use these tough blocks, and man, I love them. It's just this nice, like, I don't know if it's, I think it's like a green and a blue and a gray. I don't know. It gives a little bit more texture than you see with the stone bricks and the stone brick variants. So yeah, no interior yet. This will kind of be our bed. I think we're gonna build like a little room for our bed here. We'll have some furnaces and stuff. We'll have some like easy in, easy out access storage here. A little table for some decorations probably. We'll put some lanterns up around the room to kind of light it up a little better. And then this will kind of be like the epic staircase going up. And then I think I want to put our enchant table up here in the tower because, you know, obviously, who doesn't love a good enchant table at the top of a tower? And then down here in the basement is where all the magic is going to happen. And you'll see that momentarily after I finish describing upstairs. Now, so we did diorite, calcite, just a little bit of calcite. I've only found one geode so far, and it's not the best location, so we've got a little bit of calcite, just enough to kind of texture it up with some more white blocks. Mostly diorite and polished diorite, and then, yeah. We built this little staircase going down here. I need to figure out the spiral staircase going up here so that it goes around our little basement entrance. I went a little long on this, but I didn't want to bump my head. I actually almost want to make this too wide as well, which is not going to work with the shape of the room. So I don't know, it might just be off-centered because it is kind of annoying now that I've gone up and down here 100 times and I was moving my items back and forth. It's a little bit annoying that it's only one block wide, because like you just miss it and then when you fall you take a little bit of damage. I guess we'll get feather falling and that won't be a problem, but I've made you wait long enough. The basement. Now, hold yourself. It isn't decorated yet, but I think you'll get a good idea of what we're gonna do with this thing. It's all stone, so don't worry about that. But this is our storage concept. So we've got variety chests kind of thing. So like the skinny end of the chest faces me, right? So we get access to like bunches of 6. And then I made it 2 more deep and then turned these chests. So these will actually turn into like overflow chests in the back for items up front. And that gives us, you know, the most number of items available right to us. And then it also gives us plenty of storage for overflow for things like dirt and stone that we're gonna end up with a lot of. I don't think that I'll do item frames, just we're on a server now. So the more I can do to like reduce entities and stuff, I probably won't go with the item frames because I don't want to be lagging every time I'm down here, and we're going to build a lot of stuff in this little area. I want to do as much as I can to keep the lag down is what I'm trying to say. And one of the major things we're going to work on next, which I believe is going to be part of this little opening I've started to carve out and figure out, is going to be a decent sized little villager trading hall for all of like the major necessities. We'll have your farmers for carrots. We'll have a couple toolsmiths so we can get easy gear. Then we're gonna have just a huge variety so we can get things like glass and bricks and other, you know, stone variants, things like that that are nice to get from villagers. And then we'll also get probably a couple of the key books. Although the beauty of playing on a server like this is we don't really need to get a librarian for every different type of enchantment because there's probably someone else already doing that and I'd rather just buy them. So, but I do want to be able to get the blocks because if you need like a whole inventory full of glass, it's nice to just have some cartographers you can trade for, and I don't really want to go buy that, especially when you're buying in bulk. It gets a little expensive, so we'll get a lot of the necessities here in the base, and we'll probably buy, like, I've already bought a few mending books, and I think I bought like a silk touch book. It's nice having the access to things when you really don't want to create a villager, because how often are you actually buying mending books? Not very often, right? Once you get mending on your gear, unless you have a whoopsie, you're kind of set. So we have storage when you first come down. Obviously that's a big component to our basement, and we can also expand this, which I've thought about. Like, I'm not going to build anything behind these walls, so we could always expand this out further and make a whole nother storage room. If we decide that we need more individual locations, we can make these item specific and then do overflow behind it. So yeah, that's storage. We've got nether portal access here. I think that we will do a nether portal build at some point because I just like to do them and it's fun to have a fancy nether portal. But for now, we're all about utilitarian, making a base of operations that does everything we need it to do. And we're probably going to build a gold farm, and it makes sense to have really easy access to that because we'll be going into it frequently to repair our tools. So we'll access it through here. I've just built a little 3x3 tunnel. These are all slabbed on the floor, so you can't get spawns. I don't know how that guy must have walked all the way up the stairs because there shouldn't be anywhere he can spawn. Anyway, you come down here and you get access to kind of just the normal nether. As a server, we are going to build another hub. Uh-oh, I'm not wearing gold. Hopefully they don't. Oh, geez. Oh, so as a server, we're going to build another hub at some point and connect everything up. But for now, we just kind of have portals strewn across the landscape. So you got to get down there right in the nether to really get between portals. Honestly, I haven't even traveled in the nether that much. Because of the big ocean between us, I just ride a boat back and forth usually. So that's what we've got done so far. I think the next thing that I want to work on is getting this spiral staircase done and a little bit of this interior done. And then if I get really ambitious before the next check-in, I won't get all the villagers in there, but I might start building out the villager hall and get an idea of like the shape of that. I need to figure out a way that I can get a zombie down here so I can cure them. And I need to figure out a way that I can access them easy enough to get them in and out of their little spots and fit a lot of them in a small area. We may come back through later and decorate this place, but for now, it's function over form. Oh, we also built a little sugarcane farm. I don't think that I'll be using my elytra very much on this, the same as I don't really use it that much on the old school world, but everyone likes to have sugarcane, and TNT can be very useful, so I figured if we build a nice little sugarcane farm in our base early on, I just emptied it. We've gotten more than that, don't worry. But I figured if we get that built right now, it'll just always be running for the entirety of the season when we're at our base, and just over time, we'll always have the sugarcane we need. We also need to build a pumpkin farm and a melon farm, probably, because we're going to be trading with our villagers, and then we also are going to trade iron, most likely, with our villagers, but luckily, the iron farm has been pumping out iron blocks and iron, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. I think that's it. I think that's everything that we've done up to this point. And now, we build out the interior, and we start working on the little villager trading hall. I'll see you in a minute.
Ooh, stretch my back and legs. Well, now what did the younger me become? I make some coffee and a plan, and I decide on oats and eggs. Blow my cares away. Ooh, prepares me for the things that come. Yeah, beautiful morning, keeping me alive when the darkness comes. That kind of a morning, it's the natural feeling that you'll make it through. And I have barely begun moving as I am out through season. No, don't break no promises, sing in a key that your body believes.
So here it is. The interior is mostly finished. We've got our bedroom, probably my least favorite part of the whole house. I wanted it to be secluded because it just feels weird to not have your bed in its own separate area. I think we'll probably switch out some of these trapdoors for like different trapdoors, if that makes sense, and maybe like some oak trapdoors and maybe some jungle wood. Something to give this a little bit more breakup, but it was the easiest way to get a thin wall inside the room and leave room for our bed and some more decorations in the future. We've got some light storage like I talked about. These are just empty chests for now. I figure this will be a good spot for like keepsakes or important items that you want to grab right when you run inside the door. You've got a few furnaces here. If you just want to smelt down some glass real quick or get something knocked out, these are pretty handy. Another chest that's just for quick storage. And for me, my favorite part of probably the whole interior is the staircase. This came out exactly how I pictured it. You know, it's Minecraft, so you can't get a round staircase, but I think this is probably the closest you're gonna get to a spiral staircase. And I love how these supports came out, especially this like archway entrance to the staircase. And then also you have the bordered frame going down to the basement. This really feels like a chunky basement entrance, which I like. Get a little armor stand there for some, you know, future keepsakes as well. We've got barrels everywhere. We've got storage pretty much everywhere up here, and I don't know how much of it we'll use, but I do think it looks nice. The spiral staircase is a little bit precarious, I will give you that. No handrails and a bit of a drop, but you've got your enchant table up here, surrounded by bookshelves. I like to put some chiseled bookshelves in, probably on these top ones that aren't actually affecting the enchant table, just to give it a little bit more texture. You got your anvil and your grindstone, so you can kind of, you know, combine stuff, take enchants off and remake them. And then you still got your beautiful view here of the little bay outside of our window. So yeah, that's mostly the interior. The downstairs is still undecorated, but we did do a whole bunch of work between takes here. We've been very busy, and the biggest thing we did was we got our villager trades. So we have a few of the major trades lined up here. We've got farmers, your librarians for like your go-to books. We've got a couple cartographers, mostly for these trial explorer maps, which is the new trial chambers, which is nice. And also being able to sell glass panes is good. That's something that we could end up with a lot of in the future to sell, so it's good to have, but mostly I want to be able to get trial maps whenever I needed them. Oh, we have 5 minutes to finish this recording. The server's gonna restart. And then we did a second one and we didn't get anything on him. Honestly, I could probably just get rid of this guy. He's really kind of useless. I don't see us selling that many glass panes, so we probably don't need the second cartographer. We've then got 2 stonemasons. These guys are mostly good for bricks, if we're being honest, because bricks and clay are kind of a pain in the butt to get, and it'll be nice to be able to just grab a bunch of bricks. We've got our armor reset guys. So this guy sells shovel and pickaxe, which are pretty commonly messed up tools, or tools that we would want a lot of extra of, if that makes sense. Like if we're gonna go on like a really big dig or a really big mining out area, we're gonna want like backup pickaxes so that we don't have to go repair them constantly. So it's nice to be able to grab a bunch of extra ones. This guy sells all 4 of the diamond armors. The enchants on them are whatever, but we've got, you know, plenty of levels and plenty of enchant options available. And then we have this guy who sells sword and axe, which is convenient. Again, we're gonna go through a lot of axes and we'll probably go through a few swords. We're gonna want like, you know, a sweeping edge sword. We're gonna want a looting sword. And then he also purchases, I should say, iron ingots. And this guy also purchases iron ingots. So those are good sources of emeralds for us. And then, yeah, we got these guys too, because they buy rotten flesh. And I figure, you know, we always end up with stacks of rotten flesh, even though we're not trying to. And it's nice to be able to buy redstone and lapis. Redstone is pretty readily available now down in like the deeper levels, but lapis can be kind of a pain because it doesn't spawn if you get too deep. So you have to like mine awkwardly in the middle for it. So it's nice to just be able to buy a bunch of lapis when we want to do some enchanting. We've got some enchants figured out. Efficiency 5 was a big one. It took me forever to get efficiency 5 on this guy, but we have that one knocked out, which is good. It's kind of expensive, but you know, you don't have to buy 2 efficiency 4 books and combine them. It's nice to just have the efficiency 5 book right off the bat. You've got sharpness 5, which is good for swords, obviously. And we'll trade these guys up. Hopefully they'll also get some other good books, but for now, those books are important. We got unbreaking 3, and we actually traded this guy up and ended up getting a mending just on accident for 1 emerald. So we're set on unbreaking, mending, and, you know, a bunch of the important stuff. Frostwalker will be nice. We're gonna build a really big gold farm at some point. And we're really gonna want Frostwalker on our boots because it lets you walk on magma cubes, which is super handy. Feather Falling 3. I wanted Feather Falling 4, but you know, we'll take what we can get. You just gotta combine 2 of those and then you get Feather Falling 4, so it's not too bad. Projectile Protection, we're gonna be doing some trial chambers and there's a lot of arrows in trial chambers. So Projectile Protection I think is gonna be pretty handy. Fire Protection is also nice. It reduces the amount of fire ticks you take, which is cool. We made a little temporary map of our location. I think you can lock maps, which I have not done yet, and I need to. So I want to lock our map before, because our base, this is going to be so handy actually. We might have to build like a better spot for it. This will be really nice to be able to come to and point out what we're working on. So here we are in our little, what do you call it? Base of operations is what I've been calling it. This is our iron farm, and this is where we've been growing spruce trees. So this is nothing. But our base is kind of this chunk right behind us. This is the border up above us to Skipper, and then Slip is way over here somewhere, and then there's someone up here to the side. I can't remember exactly who took the little hole there. Maybe Bison? I'm not sure. But yeah, this is kind of the major area of our base. So it'll be nice to have like a before and after map, and also like a live map so we can come look at it and make plans for the future. I don't think our base, you know, it's not going to be one huge mega build, but the actual area that the builds take up is going to be pretty big, so that'll be handy. And then, what else did I do? Oh, we got a little brewing stand to make some potions to cure the villagers. We did cure a lot of the villagers, I'll show you that here in a second. And we made this little handy thing. So we have a villager breeder over there that dumps villagers underground, and then we set it up so we can just push this little cart, and if we wait a few moments, it should come right back up that ramp with the villager in it. Now that's only going to work because our villager breeder area down there is absolutely packed full of villagers, but it is pretty handy to just kind of send the cart down here and then it comes right back up with villagers. So if we come down here, you can see we have way too many villagers, and they think they can get out because of this trapdoor, so they just kind of hug the door. So that cart hits this block and shoots right back up. We come back over here, you can see that we have a zombie trap, which is how we've been curing our villagers, or uncuring them rather. He's kind of stuck behind this trapdoor here, and we've got a little powered rail. When you power a rail, or when you don't power a rail rather, the cart will always stop on it, so it's nice to just be able to send them up, boom, they stop right here. All we gotta do is open this trapdoor, Bob gives them a little smack, and then we cure them. That's pretty much that. I think that gets us all caught up to where we are now. Got our nether portal, our map, our storage, our villager traders, we got our iron farm, and I think next episode we are going to open our first shop in the trading district. And it is nighttime and raining. I think it's time I show you what that one last hallway is in our base of operations. Because we're going to be selling a very special item, I believe, this season. And we've got pretty decent access to it right down here. Just this very small little, really annoying to walk down, way too many stairs hallway. I thought this would be cooler in my brain, but I didn't realize how janky it was when you walk downstairs. Oh, you get a little peek. That's right, a trial chamber. Almost directly below our base of operations. And what we're going to be selling is wind charges. So we've actually built these like spawn boxes around the spawners, which let us just jump up here, smack these guys when they spawn, and then we get breeze rods. We actually get a couple things. So we get the breeze rods, but then as you can see, because we blocked this block, it actually spits the key or whatever happens to come out of the actual spawner this way, and it kind of falls down in our little hopper minecarts here and gets sucked into our chest. So we get keys, some food, but the biggest thing is we're gonna make a breeze rod shop. More accurately, probably a wind charge shop, because these things are neat. And if you can get the jump just right, I think these are actually gonna be really handy for like traversing stuff. I mean, obviously they're kind of just handy for trial chambers, honestly. There's a lot of like dual level areas in trial chambers, and it's kind of nice. These things can break your fall. They can help you jump up to really high areas. There's a little bit of a learning curve to them because as it is, like if you just do that, it's a pretty decent jump. But if you can jump and then catch the actual wind burst right before you hit the ground, you actually get like a little bit more of a jump, if that makes sense. So like you want to kind of just barely jump off the ground and then throw your wind charge and you get even higher jump. So this is kind of, you know, just clearing the edge, and look, we can make it easily onto the edge. It's not a lot of difference, but it's like a whole extra block. And I think that could be pretty handy for like future like entrances, like secret entrance to a base where you have to wind charge up to it. You do go through them pretty fast, but we can get about, I don't know, 2 stacks of wind charges, or sorry, 2 stacks of breeze rods if we hit up all the spawners in here. And that's enough, I think, for us to keep the store pretty stocked. So yeah, we're gonna open up a wind charge shop, but that is for next episode because we have been grinding. We've been knocking out a lot of stuff, which has been great, but whew, it's been a lot of work. I'm super happy with the progress we've made, and I can't wait to continue to make more. Let's go back up and take one more look at the front of our base of operations. If you made it this far in the episode, consider subscribing. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fish Fight Club. There's one rule for Fish Fight Club. The rule is we can't tell people about what happens at Fish Fight Club. You'll notice on your left and your right, we have 2 different player platforms. And in each one of these chests, you're going to find a bucket. A bucket with your weapon, which is going to be a fish. I need 2 volunteers to start off club.
Me, pick me.
Let's start with Muffert versus Pineapple.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? We are gonna kill the Ender Dragon. That's right, all of us. And we're not gonna kill him just once. We're gonna kill him 21 times. And we're only gonna use the items behind me. That's right, we're gonna kill the Ender Dragon 21 times using sticks, unenchanted bows, arrows, and carrots. And we're gonna do it naked, or at least with no armor. Yeah, we're gonna get the whole server together. We're all gonna go in there with no armor on, holding just a stick, a bow, an arrow, and some carrots. I know Sim and Jess have put a bunch of work into this. I believe Shaden also helped out. I mean, a bunch of people have helped out here and there for supplies, but I think Sim and Jess did a lot of the work. And I know specifically Sim has been grinding out, getting the materials prepared for this because, as you might expect, when you go into a fight holding nothing but a stick, a bow, an arrow, and a carrot, and no armor to fight the Ender Dragon, even as easy as the Ender Dragon is these days and how well people know the fight, we are gonna die a lot. And I suspect shenanigans will take place that will lead to even more deaths. You gotta think about it. If you have no armor on and you anger an Enderman, there's pretty much zero hope of survival. I mean, he is gonna kill you immediately. So we're gonna have to deal with that and a million other things. And then once we kill the Ender Dragon, we're gonna put all our stuff back on, gear up, we're gonna get some shulker boxes, and we're gonna get some wings. Without further ado, let's go meet up with everyone and let's fight a dragon. And then again, and then again, and then again, and then again, a lot more times. that really went some places. But we did it. We killed the dragon 21 times. As you can see from all the floating entrance portals around the island, the dragon is effectively defeated forever in the Lotus SMP Season 3 world. And now, we're gonna get some stuff. I brought all my armor, my sword, my tools, which I probably should have left some at home because if I lose these in the void, it's gonna be a real bummer. And we also brought just a bunch of building blocks. Shaden was nice enough to sell us some more books at the doorway. I actually had these back at the base, but didn't think to grab them, so he got a few more diamonds for me. And then, what else? I don't know where these melons and this jungle planks came from. I must have picked them up on the ground here. And then, I'm not sure if it was Sim that donated them or who it was, but someone offered up 2 stacks of rockets to everyone, so once we find our elytra, we'll be able to fly back here safely and get back to working. Let's get this done quickly, because I still want to build our wind shard shop today, so let's do some end busting. Alright, we got our elytra, we got some shulkers, and we immediately put them to use. We went to the desert just north of the Mushroom Trade Island. If I can figure out how to use this map again. I don't open it very often, but okay, there's this huge desert up here and there's no one really building around here, so we just peeled off a couple layers of sand because our shop on Mushroom Island is going to need a lot of glass. And because we need a lot of glass and I had to collect a lot of sand, I went ahead and built a little smelter. Oh, look at that. Little special cake. We hit 1,000 subs. That's pretty awesome. We hit it, I don't know, I guess between the dragon fight and now, so in the last couple days. And someone gave me some cake. Thanks for the cake. Whoever it was. I can't eat it. Jump, 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 jump. Oh, wait, you know what, actually? I know how we can eat some cake. I saw this guy in the forest and I started recording. Just one, thank you. Bye! Oof, jeez. He's mad. Just shut this door. Ah, yes, there we go. Delicious cake. Uh-oh. I ruined it. I didn't know you couldn't put a candle back on a cake. Well, thanks for the cake. I wished for 1,000 more, so. Anyway, as I was saying, we collected a bunch of sand, and that meant we needed to smelt a bunch of sand. And I didn't really want to do that individual furnaces and, you know, putting in coal and wasting coal. So the first thing we built, I gotta be careful because there's spoilers everywhere. I had some like weird downtime at my full-time job and I didn't know if we were going to be working or not going to be working, so I wasn't really recording, but I was just like, oh, I might as well make some progress while I'm waiting to figure out what's going on. And we got a lot done. And I didn't get much of it on camera, and I didn't think to record it with we did some stuff. Mostly just more useful base of operation stuff. The first thing we did was fuel. We built a magma farm, which somebody recommended to me in my Discord. Which somebody actually recommended in the community Discord, which is pretty helpful. Thank you for that. I believe it was Yang was his name, or at least that's what he goes by in the Discord. So appreciate it. And he actually posted like a little screenshot of a magma farm, and we kind of made a very similar thing, but we fit it down here in the bottom of the base of operations. So, you know, it's tucked away in this little corner. It's not super pretty, but I tried to make it at least organized. You've got a bunch of barrels on the ground, because anytime I feel like grabbing up a bunch of lava in buckets, I just throw them down here. So we've got a pretty good stockpile going for the smelter, which we're going to show next, which is kind of what this is all for. So yeah, you just grab some buckets, scoop them out. They actually fill up faster than I thought. For some reason I thought like the dripstone lava generators and stuff would be really, really slow. But I would say one of these fills up every like few seconds. And a bucket of lava can smell, I think it's 100 items. So we've got, you know, how many hundreds of items that we can already smell just from the lava we've already stored up. And I've only had this thing running for like a day. There are ways to like automatically to like scoop the lava out of the cauldrons, I think, but I just kind of try to swing in here every once in a while. I had this actually full of buckets, but we've used them all up, as you can see. But I just swing in here every once in a while and grab a bunch of lava. All right, the lava is to power this thing, which is a super smelter. It's a semi-super smelter is what I'd call it. I found a design online And I didn't like it because it was massive and complex and did a bunch of stuff, but I took pieces here and there from a bunch of different designs I found. So this one is you have your cart going across the top, hits this wall and comes back. So this is your feed for whatever you're smelting, and I wanted to bring some stakes just so I could kind of show you how the thing works. I actually did all the sand already, but this is full of your lava buckets, and these are all full too because I've just been dumping them in here. These hoppers all feed these hoppers, which push fuel into some furnaces. You can just barely see them kind of tucked away back here. And then this thing kind of spreads whatever you're smelting down across the top. There's hoppers underneath this track. And then everything, the empty buckets and the, you know, and glass, in this case it's steak, and everything comes out into these two chests here at the bottom. And that's just some hoppers under the furnace that kind of run to those chests. So all you gotta do is you throw your food in here. You typically want to, it's already feeding into this stuff, but that's fine. You typically want to smelt a lot of stuff at once, especially when you're using lava buckets, because as I said, one lava bucket will do 100 items. So it'll do over 1 stack. So you're actually kind of wasting fuel technically if you don't like smelt a bunch of items, but the lava's essentially free and we've got way more than we'll probably ever need. Then you just hit the little switch and this thing kind of goes back and forth and feeds the furnaces and then just, you know, kind of just distributes. I think because I changed the design a little bit, it's not like perfectly efficient. So some furnaces get a little more food than other furnaces or whatever you happen to be smelting, but it's good enough for me. So we're smelting 8 items at a time. So I think it's like 10 seconds for an item to smelt. So every 10 seconds we should get about 8 steaks and then that just keeps going. And then again, so those buckets get used up and immediately dumped. Then we can just grab them, run back in here and fill them up. Actually, it's probably even more efficient if I just do this. It's the first time I've had the system full, so theoretically there should be 8 slots here. We should be able to just dump these right back in here. And there you go, system's topped off again. It's that easy. So that's our super smelter and our fuel source for the foreseeable future. We might make a kelp farm or a bamboo farm eventually, but for now, that'll do. So we need a bunch of glass, and I don't want to really spoil too much of the shop, but I'm pretty happy about the concept. I think it's gonna look really cool. We're using a little bit of warped wood. We're using a lot of glass. We're actually stocking magma blocks in the shop, so that's not part of the build. It's just actually maybe we should spread some around. But the glass. This isn't the glass though. We have a shulker somewhere full of glass. Yeah, a lot of glass. We've got 2 shulkers completely full of glass, and actually we need to go and stain it all white, which is what we're gonna use up all our bones for. So yeah. I'm gonna stain all this glass. I gotta get a little bit more warped wood, and then we're gonna go build a shop on the Mushroom Island, and I'll check back in when it's done because it's gonna take me a minute. It's a lot of glass, as you can see. just placing 2 shulker boxes full of glass. Plus it's a building, and you'll see. I can't really say much without spoiling it, but I promise it's gonna be really cool. All right, let's get to it. And here it is. What do you think? I Love it. I don't think I could be more happy with the effect of like the tornado pulling the blocks off of the roof. If I'm being honest, I hated how the roof looked on this build, but I had to kind of like build it and then destroy it, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't like reverse engineer it without just building it. And you know what? I think in the future, if I don't like a roof, I might just, you know, have a tornado run through it. That's an idea. Seems kind of pertinent that it would rain right now. It's very fitting, I suppose. But yeah, here it is. Cobs, wind, and fire, and stuff. Right now we're selling magna cubes and breeze rods, and probably more things in the future as we get more farms going, or I don't know, we decide that we want to try to sell something that people actually want to buy maybe at some point. But yeah, you got breeze rods and magma cubes. Got little labels here on them, chests, got everyone's little piggy bank here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. As you can see, we went with the warped wood, because I felt like if it was going to be on the Mushroom Island, also I just noticed, actually that's just wool, but it's a very similar color palette, but I feel like if it's going to be on this like purpley Mushroom Island, like the blue kind of fit, it's more like fantastical. And I don't know how this server will end up, but I feel like every time I see like a trade district and an SMP, all of the builds kind of go big and fantastical or like mythical looking. At least I hope so. We'll see when some other shops start popping up if it fits in or not. Hopefully it's not too big. I had to make the tornado big enough to sell the effect. I originally tried designing this with like a small, like little more narrow tornado, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't look right. I had to go wider. I had to pull more blocks off the roof to help it kind of sweep up into the tornado, but in the end, I think it came out perfectly, and this is exactly what I pictured. As soon as I knew I was going to be selling wind charges, I knew that I wanted to make a build being destroyed by a tornado. For some reason, it just popped into my brain immediately. I did sneak some chests up in there. I tried to pull, like, every type of block that we used in the main build here, I tried to pull up into the tornado, so that would be kind of, you know, an interesting effect there. We have a bunch of chests here, so in the future we can just slap an item frame and sell, you know, whatever. We've got more room here to sell some stuff. This will probably be our only shop for the season, and we'll just, you know, mix and match different items as things come and go, or we decide to sell stuff. We've got plenty of chests here to sell stuff, and obviously we could always like make a little basement for like backup. We probably should have done that over here maybe. Maybe we'll make like a little trapdoor entrance here that kind of goes down into a restock storage or something, but we'll figure that out later. For now, I wanted to get the shop up and running and get it built, and whew, it was a lot. That is a lot of glass blocks. Not only is it a lot of glass blocks, but as you probably saw in the time lapse as I was building it, I had to place a bunch of like dirt blocks and stuff because none of these glass layers kind of touch each other in a lot of places, so you're like constantly place a temporary block, place a glass block, delete the temporary block, and you're doing that all over the place, and there's gaps. There's items floating out in the middle that I had to kind of like pillar out to in place, but in the end, it all came together. We've got a super cool shop to sell all of our future goods in, and whew, that was a lot of work. We built a super smelter, we built a permanent fuel source, we built a shop to sell our goods, we fought the dragon 21 times, and we participated in a club that we don't talk about, or at least we don't talk about what happened at the club. I'm not sure about all the rules. The rules were very fuzzy, but we did it. We made it to the end. This episode was a grind, but it was a blast. The dragon fight was a blast. The fish fight club was great. I wish we had a little more time. We were a little bit rushed, but it was super fun. And oh, that's a beautiful shot. The rainbow shining through the tornado, the house being destroyed. It's a beautiful thing. What else happened this episode? Oh yeah, 1,000 subs. Thank you so much to everyone who's followed along so far. Anyone who's watched the video, liked the video, commented, subscribed, even if you're just a lurker and you've just been hanging around. I appreciate it. I've got much more to come. We've got bigger, bolder plans for this season. I can't thank you enough for sticking around and checking out a small channel like this. We're just getting started. I'm gonna keep trying to make every video better and do things better as we go. Be sure to hang out after the credits. I left a lot of hilarious scenes from the dragon fight in there. Trust me, they're worth the watch. And as always, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? Mess around with this free camp thing, it's pretty cool. We're back on Lotus, and I spotted a new shop on the island. I really want to use shulker boxes this season, and someone put up a new shop with a particularly favorable deal. And I think I'm gonna take advantage. It's probably more shulker shells than we could possibly use this season, but it would be really nice to just have that off the list for the rest of the season, right? Like, we just won't have to worry about collecting shulker shells ever again. It's 25 diamond blocks. So we've got 2 stacks, 32, and then I just went on a quick little excursion and got another 41 raw ore. So let's go mine up this raw ore real quick. And this should be enough to push us over the edge. Actually, let me go grab our fortune pickaxe, because obviously. And then we're gonna take a little trek over to the Mushroom Island. We're gonna buy some shulker shells. A lot of them. We should do this in the daytime. We definitely don't want to risk any surprise creeper attacks when we're mining all of the diamonds that we own in the entire world. In fact, I probably won't even go through the nether, even though it's faster, because there's no way I'm risking losing these things in a lava pool. All right, 41 raw diamond ore. Let's see how we do here. This was a pretty good mining haul. At one point I found a vein. I think it was 12 diamond ore in one cluster. It was almost like 2 specific like diamond clusters spawned right next to each other. Fortune 3, 41. Let's see how many we get. All right, and I forgot to look ahead of time. What do they have? 2 stacks of diamonds? So another 2 stacks, I think? I forget. Oops. I definitely should have made a better mental note of that. But we're up to 4 stacks, which I believe should be plenty for, I think the deal was 24 blocks. That is gonna be all but 38 of our diamonds. But again, we're gonna check shulker boxes off of our list for the season, and that seems like a win. Now, I did consider making a shulker farm this season, but honestly, if we do this, I don't know that we'll really have a good reason to. Let's make a very, very large purchase. And here it is, the shulker shop. I actually don't know what it's called. Is there a sign? Shulker shop, now open. There you go, simple. I like this, like, desert stone mixed with the, is that stripped birch? Looks good, I like it. I need to start using these copper trapdoors. Everyone's using them everywhere. They look super good. I keep not using them. All right, so yeah, you got your shulkers in here. I believe it's like, it's probably in here. 1 shulker for 1 diamond, or 3 shulkers for 2 diamonds. So that's a pretty good deal. But what we're here for is on this page. A one-time offer. A shulker filled with shells is up for grabs. This will produce 864 shulker boxes. That would cost 64 diamond blocks, but is now for the special price of 25 diamond blocks. Now, I'm not sure who wrote this, but I don't think that's 40% off. I think that might be 40% of the total price, but we'll take it. Hopefully that wasn't a math error on their part, because we don't have enough diamond blocks to do 40% off, but we can do 40% of 64 blocks. I did not do the math, so I'm hoping that they're not ripping us off here. I think that that's probably true, because what was the deal? If it was 3 shulkers for 2 diamonds, how does that work out? It's a lot. I don't know. I'm not doing the math. Is it 9 diamonds per block? I just think it would be fun to buy this big box, all right? 1 shulker box, completely full of shulker shells. One quick question is, where do they want their payment? Place all payments in the chest to your right. I don't see any chests to my right. Yeah, am I missing some? Is there one in the ground? Nope. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. 24, right? You're really, it's a huge purchase. I want to make sure I don't rip them off. 25 diamond blocks. Whew, see, there you go. Good thing I read it again. 25 diamond blocks. That is going to leave us with 29 diamonds to our name. And there is no chest to leave these in. So I think we'll leave them a little visible present. Let's just decorate their room for them a little bit here. 25 blocks is kind of a lot. We probably need to go up higher. I actually don't even know whose shop this is. I know that, I think it was like Bison and Sim. I know there was a couple people that went on like a really serious shulker hunt. So this is probably theirs. This is like nerve-wracking. I would hate to mess up and delete a we're gonna immediately, shulker shells, 64. Yeah, we're gonna immediately put that in the ender chest where it's safe. There you go. 25 diamond blocks. Pretty good deal. All right. Now, what is this episode really about? Well, we're gonna make some farms. We've had a couple really buildy episodes, and I think it's time we get some, background processes in order. I want to get like a general mob farm going. I think I might do like a cobblestone generator so that we can sell stone and cobblestone in our shop. I've already kind of prepped some of these chests, as you can see. I want to sell string from the mob farm and a few other things. And then, what else? Oh, and then the big thing, we're going to build a massive gold farm. And we're going to make it so that it auto crafts us gold blocks right from the get, so that we don't have to do that annoying thing. You like convert nuggets to ingots and then convert the ingots back into blocks. We're just gonna have this thing using the brand new autocrafters do all the work for us. But let's go back to the house and get our resources together for that, and then we're gonna do some farming. Alright, and that's our mob farm. It's a big old ugly stone box. As you can tell, we built this thing really low to the ground, which is not ideal for a mob farm, but I really want to hide this thing inside the terrain. So the lower I built it, the less hill I have to kind of build up over it to cover it over. And if we sit up there in our AFK platform and I lit up a little bit of caves, the farm still produces at a totally respectable amount. So I'm really not worried about it. It's a general mob farm. It's the one you've probably seen 1,000 times. I think this design is actually years old. I don't even know if they're really still making this kind anymore, but I like it because, I don't know, it has some redstone, but it couldn't be much simpler. I mean, it's just an observer watching another observer watching another observer, and they kind of just chain the water, pushes down the column. Mobs spawn on the platforms, it pushes them off, they fall, and they burn in some fire. I mean, it's as straightforward as it gets. I went ahead and built an item sorter on the bottom, which is super handy. And we did AFK for a while, so as you can see, we're pretty well set on materials at this point. We've got gunpowder. I left 2 rows for gunpowder because I figure that's going to be the most coveted resource. We've got 2 boxes full of string, plenty of bones. We didn't really need bones, but we have them. I did collect arrows. After these fill up, you'll see up here that it will just overflow into a little lava dump. So as soon as one of these fills up, you get a little overflow chamber over here, and this dropper just shoots it off into some lava. This last one I left open for like miscellaneous items. If I care to, I'll come in here and kind of clean out the chests. Like, you get a lot of redstone for some reason. I'm not even really sure where all this redstone's coming from, honestly. But you get the occasional spider eye, which is nice. And then some other stuff. You don't get a lot of spider eyes because I think for a spider eye to drop, you have to actually kill the spider with a, like the player has to kill them. But for some reason, we still do get the occasional one, so that's nice. And that'll be, 44 already is probably plenty to cure all the villagers we would want. This is probably just my stuff from me building it. Now I want to go do that terraforming. I've been like itching to get the area cleared. We'll come up here and look at the map. I really want to get the forest cleared and maybe start digging away at that mountain. I don't know if we'll get quite to that this episode because that's going to be a pretty big hill. It doesn't show well on this map, but this whole area right here is a pretty high elevation when you're outside. So I'd like to start carving out our forest here. We'll leave, I don't know, a few blocks, maybe like 40 blocks or something between me and Skipper. Just a nice little tree line there. He's also in a pretty small area, so I'm sure he'd appreciate the ability to expand right to his borders, which I think we've got plenty of room here. We don't really need to butt right up against him, so we'll leave just a little bit of a buffer here in trees. But we're going to cut out this whole area, and we're going to deforest the entire thing, I think, because it's just really hard to see the landscape with the trees. If we're going to delete that mountain and start covering over the mob farm with dirt, I feel like we need a good view of like what the area looks like. And it's just, see, with all these trees, it's really hard to see. Like, there's a big hole here I know about, and this mountain's actually pretty tall. Unfortunately, it's very steep faces, so it doesn't look huge on the map, but it's a decent little chunk that we'll take the dig. But we did get a beacon now, as you probably saw already. I recorded this fight, and then I don't think I included it in anything because it went terribly wrong on me, and the footage was like 2 hours long. So I fought the Wither with the underground method, and he escaped into like the biggest cavern I've ever seen in Minecraft. And it was just me flying around in a cave with rockets and trying to get a good angle on him. And man, when he starts regenning, man, the Wither, if you're not fighting the Wither cheese, he is kind of a pain in the butt, especially underground in a cavern. I almost would have rather just fought him in the air, honestly, but that is what it is. Alright, we've got a lot more to do this episode, so let's start cutting down some trees until I can't take it anymore. And then we'll move on to the next farm, which is going to be a magma cube farm, because we need magma cream to make magma cubes for the gold farm, because it takes a lot of magma blocks. And I don't feel like going down to the nether floor and mining them all. So here we go. Onward and upward. The grind continues. Let's cut down some trees. See you in a minute. here it is, a magma cream farm. It's not the prettiest, it's not the biggest and the baddest, but I think it'll do fine for us. I mean, we're gonna stock some magma cubes in the shop just because we have the farm now, but I really don't see us using any more of these past the gold farm, so once that's built, this pretty much has no use anymore. But let's go down there and take a look at kind of how it works. It's pretty simple. There's like a more technical version of the farm that uses wither roses, but this is just a little baby version, so it uses sweetberry bushes. I mean, they're not effective. It kills the magma cubes really slow. That's probably like the biggest efficiency loss so far, is that these guys just don't die fast. You'll see they jump around for a long time against these sweetberry bushes before they actually die. But there's a golem in the middle that they're all wanting to try to get to, and then they just kind of jump up and down on these sweetberry bushes until they're dead. And that's kind of the whole farm. We're in a basalt delta biome, so only magma cubes can spawn here, except for gas, I should say. I built these too far apart, as you can tell. So gas can spawn in a 5x5 area, and apparently it was 5 blocks from the end of this to the wall, because I had a gas spawn right in this hole in a couple spots. So we've done some patchwork. It's no longer a very pretty farm, and I also like used half of it, some blocks I already had, and then didn't realize it. So it's got like deep slate in the bottom and stone on the top. It is what it is. It's another roof farm, you know? This doesn't have to be pretty. This is just function up here. Yeah. And then, you know, a little 1.21 action. We got ourselves a little auto crafter. This is actually a dropper circuit. I think most people use this for. Let's see if we have some scap. It's going off even though, I guess I don't know how my own device works. But anyway, so all this thing's doing is just giving us like a constant pulse. I know it's kind of like bad juju in the redstone community to have like a constant thing, but I just shut it off when I leave, and then you don't have a constant redstone update. But it's easier to just do this. I did find a tutorial online for a tileable auto crafter circuit, and it works great, and it was like super smart, but occasionally it would just get stuck. All the slots would fill up, and then it wouldn't craft, and then once the slots fill up, you no longer get a new tick. So then the slots just fill all the way up to 64, and the whole thing plugs up and stops. So we had to settle for this kind of more rudimentary version, and then, you know, we just gotta remember to turn it off and on whenever we're here. So you get magma cream from the magma cubes. There's a little cart collection hopper underneath here. Just kind of runs around underneath where the iron golem is, collects up all the magma cream, shoots up here. This is a fun circuit. I've never really used minecarts before. You have this circuit up here, right? And what it'll do is if there's anything in this hopper, it'll shut off this powered rail. So if there's something in the minecart when it comes up, it'll drop it, right? And as soon as it drops it, boom, this thing shuts off completely, and the minecart will stay until it's empty. It's definitely not my circuit. I'm not smart enough to come up with something like that, but it's pretty handy. Okay, magma cream farm. Whew. I said this is the farming episode, and I was not lying. We've got our general mob farm. We've got our magma cream farm. Now we got to build the gold farm. Actually, first, before we talk about the gold farm, let's go take a look at the terraforming, because we did cut down a bunch of trees, and I meant to kind of check in between then and now, but, you know, sometimes you just get on a groove and you kind of don't really realize what you're doing and forget to record segments, so I didn't really show you guys what the final product of cutting down the trees was, so let's run back over to the base real quick and we'll take a look at that. Alright, so here's the progress so far. We might cut down a little wider, I don't know. I think I want to get all of the landscaping done in this clearing first. We have to be really careful, right, because I just took a whole bunch of fall damage getting up here, if you can't tell. The thing is we don't want to go too big and just make something we can't even manage to get done in the season reasonably, right? So originally I had this plan to do like a multi-base where we would have a bunch of different elements around the base. But I think the more I think about it, I kind of want to just do a city. And maybe that's a little too one note, and we can find ways to like fit cool builds into it. Like it can be a city, but then like some old wood tavern made its way in the middle of it or something. We'll get creative with it. But I want to do like city roads, and I want to do some skyscrapers. I want to make like a subway station to connect to Meffert's train station, and I don't know, I want to play in that world for a while. It's not really a build style I've ever really played with, so I really want to do it. I mean, if we start getting bored of it, whatever, you know, we'll move over slightly or fly off in the distance and do a different style. But I think for now, this is a pretty big area that we've cleared. I don't know if you can remember the beforehand. Actually, we'll go take a look at the map after this and update the map, because I'm sure the map looks a lot different now. So once we get these hills out of here, this is going to be a nice big flat area. I mean, it's going to be a lot of digging. I'm glossing over it, but once these hills are out of here, these are massive hills to tear down, and it's probably going to take a whole episode just to terraform this area, but we've been doing a lot of terraforming lately, so we're getting pretty good at it. All right, let's go look at the map and see what the clearing actually looks like after the fact. All right, I'm not a heavy map user, so I think, I don't know, do you have to be in the zone? So this one, obviously we're in the zone, so we can just look at it. Oh yeah, you can already tell it's, look at the, yeah. So we've done a pretty big area. So let's see, will this one auto-update or do we have to go over there? No, it auto-updates, perfect, okay. So yeah, we've cleared a huge area here. So our claimed zone at the beginning of the season actually went probably another, I don't know, 100 blocks or so back here. But I think I want to leave this like chunk, and no one has claimed this area either. I think Slip is like over here somewhere, and I don't think he plans on going past the river, but we'll leave some coastline there just in case he does, I guess. But we've got this huge area here which no one's really claimed, and I technically didn't highlight it as part of my bubble, but I don't think anyone's gonna mind if I just kind of move this way some. Skipper's up here, so we don't want to go too far that way, but we've got plenty of room this way. But for now, I think this is our general area for our city. Or at least the start of it, right? We can always expand later, as I said. We can't expand up. We can expand back. And that's enough for me, I guess. So yeah, that's the plan. We've got a lot of work and a lot of elbow grease between us and there, but I think that is a good start. Or at least it's a good, plan for now. We're not committed to anything here. We can always change our minds at any point, so that's what we're gonna do. But this is the farming episode. So we're on to the next farm. Let me get a barrel, get some shulker boxes, and start gathering some resources for this gold farm, and then we build our last farm of the episode. Alright, it's finally time. And we're mixing it up. This time, we're gonna go live on YouTube. I've done some thinking, and I think it just makes more sense to keep everything here. It's where you guys are, it's easier to access the VODs. I don't know. I'm not gonna be a professional streamer. I don't have time for that. I think it just makes sense to keep everything in one place. So yeah, we're keeping the streams here, but we're gonna go live. We're gonna build a really big gold farm. You've probably seen this one before. It's like a big donut shape, and then you kind of stand in the middle and the piglins come from all around you. The only difference we're doing here is we made a bunch of auto-crafters and observers and pistons and comparators. We're gonna try to auto-craft our nuggets into ingots and then craft those ingots into gold blocks. So not only are we building a giant gold farm, we're gonna automate it because I just really hate that tedious, like, grab an inventory full of nuggets, make it into bars, grab an inventory full of nuggets, make it into bars. This thing is just gonna spit out solid gold blocks for us to deal with, which is gonna be amazing. Gathered all the glass, we've gathered all the magma buckets, all the little its and bits and pieces. We even needed snow for this one, a bunch of other weird little blocks, a bunch of grindstones, a whole ton of hoppers. I think it's like 3 stacks of hoppers. Whew. But now all that's left to do is to build it. Let's get to it. So what do you think? Are you guys farmed out yet? Ooh-wee. We have been farming. I really forgot. I mean, I've built this farm before. Also, this is free cam, if you couldn't tell. I need to use this more. It's so handy. I should use it for like, just for myself when I'm like building and getting like good angles to see what I'm working on, but it's also fun just to use it for a camera, right? Yeah, this took a long time. And I knew it took a long time because I built this thing before, but it took longer than I remember. But I also Had a lot more free time in those days, and 2 less children. But we did it. 3 full layers. Thank you, Rad. Rad helped me tear down. So we originally had built actually like a starter gold farm in this area, and it wasn't good. I don't think I ever even showed it on camera, but it got us some initial XP and some initial gold to cure our villagers, but this one is much, much better, and thanks, Rad, for helping me tear that thing down. I did accidentally throw my pickaxe into the lava while we were doing it, so that was unfortunate, but we still saved a lot of time having 2 people break down that, you know, eyesore. Not that this one's beautiful. This is a pretty standard design. I'm sure you've seen it before if you've ever seen someone like do a gold farm. But you shoot a piglin, and then there's piglins out here on boats, or actually they're on minecarts, I should say, and they're named so they won't despawn. And they just stay mad at you. So even when new piglins spawn, they're still mad at you. And then beneath them, there's hoppers, or I should say there's hopper minecarts that pull all of the gold nuggets down here into our little system below, which I'll show here in a second. Inside of these little like corners, if I can be careful, because they can actually kind of hit you here. There's 24 minecarts there, so that all the piglins are dying to is cramming damage, they call it. The Minecraft won't let you have like 25 enemies in one spot, otherwise they just start dying. You put a bunch of minecarts in there, and then as soon as a piglin falls, he starts taking damage. Ouch. See, you gotta be careful. It's not the safest thing once you have it running to go near the edges, but that's all. I mean, that's the whole farm. It's really just a bunch of spawning platforms. It's not a super complicated farm, it's just big. It's just such a big area, and it's so many magma blocks. You definitely want Frostwalker on your boots. Frostwalker lets you walk on magma cubes without taking damage, and that is absolutely huge. Alright, so that's the standard. I didn't come up with any of this. Just go look up a gold farm tutorial, you'll find this one. But down here below is my abomination of redstone. So you have sorters underneath each, because there's 4 different drop locations. If I did this again, I probably would do the tower style gold farms that kind of, all the piglins fall down one segment rather than having them fall at 4 separate locations. Because they fall at 4 locations and like everything jams up if you try to hopper it together, so I have to do 4 separate sorting systems, which is not ideal. There's probably smarter ways to do it, and maybe there's enough throughput on the hoppers if I had it in one spot, but I feel like they would plug up. So I separated it into 4 identical circuits, essentially. So you got a sorter. I'm doing 2 rows of gold nuggets just in case. Again, I just really didn't want this thing to get backed up. So you got a couple rows of gold nuggets, and then you can occasionally get golden ingots from them, so I wanted to be able to get those as well. And then I think I even left rotten flesh in a couple just in case someone wanted some for like clerics or something, but we're really not going to use that stuff. The real meat and potatoes of this farm is down even further. Now these nuggets get sorted out, and they don't ever go into a chest, they just go straight into these little crafters. This circuit's a little bit different than the circuit down on the magma cube farm. This one actually checks to see if there's anything in there. If there's anything in here, oh, look at that, we found one that was messed up. I'm glad I clicked on that. When I was setting up all the filters, I let some stuff slide through and wasn't super careful. Yeah, see, like this shouldn't be in here. But this one is the way it's supposed to work, whereas you get a gold nugget in here, we can get some like this. And as long as there's like as long as there's 1 nugget in here, you get a constant pulse. So again, it's not the best design. There's technically a way you can put another crafting box here, or like a composter, and you can do, again, I'm not a redstone guy, but you can do a comparator and subtraction mode against one of these, and then it won't have enough signal to actually shoot like a loop until this thing is mostly full at least, whereas this one, it's just as soon as there's anything in here, it's enough signal to try to pulse it. But it technically will stop pulsing if you like empty both of these. So that's pretty much never on this farm, so it is kind of a nightmare in terms of flashing redstone, but it's up on the nether roof in the middle of nowhere, so whatever. But yeah, as soon as you have a nugget back in there, you know, it's chaos again, so that is what it is. We'll come up with a better design later, maybe, but honestly, it works, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Down here again, so this is the circuit I just talked about. So this one, I actually had to do this because golden ingots can craft a few different things, right? So if you have 2 ingots in here, they can craft a pressure plate, I think. Yeah. So there's a gold pressure plate that's 2 ingots. So if you get 2 ingots and then you get a pulse, it'll actually craft pressure plates, which we don't want that. And a single gold ingot can break down into gold nuggets, and you don't want that either. So this essentially just cancels out a bunch of that signal, so that this thing can't go off until it's almost full. It's technically not the perfect amount because it goes off at 7, or it goes off at what, 8 instead of 9. But at that point, there's nothing else gold can craft, so it's okay if it starts pulsing a little bit early. And then finally, down here at the bottom, you get gold blocks, which we've already gotten like 5 stacks of gold blocks. I've just already brought them back to the base. So it totally works. Apparently, it's only working at 3/4 capacity since one of our things up there is messed up, but it is what it is. We've got enough gold and gold nuggets that we'll ever need. But honestly, I built this farm for the experience because there's pretty much nothing better in terms of just raw experience than a gold farm, which is probably not developer intended, but it's the reality. So we can just come in here with our tools after we dig something or do a big project, and like, you'll watch, I'll be able to go through this whole hotbar real quick. I mean, my tools aren't exactly broken right now, but I can just kind of flick through my hotbar and then bang, all my stuff's repaired up, everything I was wearing is repaired up, and we're good to go. So yeah, this is mostly just to AFK and repair our tools and stuff. We will use some gold. I don't know. I know that someone else has already built a gold farm on the server, and it's probably better than this one, so they might sell gold. If they don't, I guess we can sell gold. I'll sell it if people want to, but I also want to give that other person a chance to sell it, because it seems like, you know, I think they built a whole piglin bartering system on theirs too, where it like kicks the gold out and automatically trades it as well, so I think they've got big plans, and I don't want to steal their thunder with my little, you know, knockoff gold farm. But yeah, we cleared a bunch of trees, we've got plans for the future. Yeah, this is it's been a different episode. I know we don't have any pretty builds to show for it, and, you know, not a lot of new progress on the base. I mean, those trees getting cleared honestly took me like 4 hours, so it was a good thing to get done. It doesn't really like, it doesn't pop like a nice pretty build on the landscape, but it's something that needs to get done, and it's just kind of the reality of these situations. What other stuff have we done? Oh, yeah, it's been a long time, by the way. It's been several days since I recorded anything, so we're a little bit in the future here, and I saw an Etho video this morning, actually, that used these dispensers, and it turns out if you do 4 dispensers, and you put a pressure plate in the middle, it will simultaneously activate all 4 of these, right? And you can do a quad wind charge, and these things are like the ultimate launch pads. And I'm going to be putting these all over the server to sell wind charges. Because a couple things. It uses 4 wind charges every time, which isn't really a lot, really, because, I mean, how often are you jump padding out of your base, right? You're only going to use it when you're taking off to go somewhere. That gives you 64 trips somewhere, right? If you filled it up with, I mean, you can fill a lot more than 64, but if you put a stack in each one, 64 trips out of your base is a lot. So, but I do think that people are going to like them, and I do think they'll need to buy wind charges. So I think I see sales going up in the near future in our little wind charge shop. Got our little drop shoot there into our slime block for no fall damage. Yeah, we're starting to get a little fancy in the base. We did also build that cobblestone farm that I was talking about. However, I think there's something about logging in or logging out or doing something. Somehow I was AFK in here, and the cobblestone farm was running, and I didn't shut it off, which I always shut it off every time I've used it before that. But I was just like in a rush to do something, so I logged out with it still running. And someone else came through the area and loaded the chunks, and it detonated itself. I'm not sure why. There's no reason it should have been able to destroy itself still. The only thing I think is like, somehow like the chunk was loaded only enough for the TNT and not the, I don't know what happened. Some kind of update error, and boom, it blew itself up. So we don't have a cobblestone generator anymore. I might rebuild it, I might not, I don't know. No one's even bought any yet, so for now, honestly, I'm probably just gonna leave it alone. Oh, I destroyed the wall down here too. This was just a big empty box before. We do have some chests full of cobblestone because it did run while I was AFK, so I guess we're set there for a little while. And we had actually started smelting some of it down in our super smelter into stone. Somewhere here, yeah, so we've got a bunch of shulkers full of stone already. In case someone decided to buy some, I wanted to have some prepped, but no one's bought any yet, so it doesn't really matter. We also built this, the last farm of the episode. I told you there might be one more. Cactus farm. It's a cactus farm. You've got cactuses on sand, and when they grow, they can't grow next to a wall. So if they grow up 1 block and that fence post is next to them, it automatically breaks it. The cactuses flow down here. This little stream brings them down and drops them in the hopper. And there you go. Cactus farm. People usually build these a lot bigger, with like many layers, but we don't need that much green dye, and I don't see us needing any in the future. And again, the beauty of having all these farms in our base is they kind of just always run, right? A very productive episode. Even if we didn't make any cool builds or do anything fancy, I feel good about it because all of this stuff is going to enable us to do cool stuff in the future. The more we can be efficient now, the bigger and bolder we can build in the future, and that's going to be a good thing. But I have been farming like crazy, and I'm tired. So that's all I have time for today. You made it this far. I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? It's time. It's time to do what we're best at and get rid of this mountain. That's right. Today's the day we start the mega build. That was supposed to be a dramatic zoom, but instead I walked behind a bush. The mega build. Bum bum bum. Just kidding, kind of. I've decided the base for this season is a city. The beauty of it is I can kind of decide as we go how big the city will be. As opposed to the singular large structure mega build that a lot of people go for, I think I'm just gonna go for a mega scene. Is that maybe scene is the right word for it? I'm not sure. But I wanna build a city. I wanna have an older district of like rundown houses. I wanna have like a really high rise fancy district. I want to have maybe like a suburb. I know that's not really part of the quote unquote city, but it'd be cool to have like a little suburb area or something like that. And then I'm going to leave this little area open because I'm not sure what I want to put here yet, and I'm sure we'll get some ideas. We also may expand further in that direction and or further in that direction, but I'm not sure about that yet. We've got a few decisions to make. I know I want to make a subway station, so I'm probably going to try to locate that like centrally, and then we'll have to decide based on like the design and how big that subway station is, whether or not we kind of like put one in the four corners as well as what I was thinking, so that you could like ride the subway to your district, if that makes sense. But that's all big future planning stuff. For now, the biggest thing we have to do is flatten this whole area out, at least down to, I don't know, probably like Y69, Y70. Oh, I took my elytra off. Like, let's see, what is this down here? Yeah, so this is Y69. So if we bring this mountain and this big hill over here down to this level, I think we can raise this area up, and we may have, you know, some elevation change in the city, but, you know, predominantly cities are usually flat, right? So we don't want to have too much gradient, unless we have like between the sections, like between the high-rise fancy neighborhood and like the old rundown neighborhood. Maybe we have like a little bit of a road, like a sloped down there. That could work out. So maybe we'll have like that as one tier, and then down here will be like the next tier of city. We'll see. But before we can do any of that real like minute gradient change in terms of like the floor of the city, we need to get rid of all this stuff in the way. And that means we need to do a whole bunch of digging. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. We covered up the iron farm. I was tired of looking at that like square stone thing with the wood top. It's nothing fancy, but I think it looks better than what we had there. And you know, it's functional. We literally just built this big, essentially it's really just a box, right? Tough brick, tough little spruce action. I put a little bit of cobblestone here on like the faces. I was trying to play with, what do they call it? Highlights, I think is the word. Color, oh crap, I think a zombie broke my door, but I'm not really sure why he would break the door because there's nothing in here for him. Well, that's annoying. I guess we have to do this fancy door placement with this. I did have a door here. You can come in and check our iron. So the farm is literally just still here and we just built this box around it, but it works. So this has to all be spawn proofed because I did have some golems spawning as I was building this thing. And then yeah, iron farm still works, but I don't know. Not much to say about it. It's just kind of a big shell. We just plopped it over the top of the iron farm. Let's see how it looks. I actually haven't even really looked at it from before. Let's see how it looks from the water. That was the biggest thing. I was going to get like thumbnails for the videos and trying to take some like aerial shots, and this building was just, oh yeah, it fits much better. And like we got the tough and the tough. These buildings might look weird when we actually start building the city buildings, but I think we'll build like a row of, I don't know, trees or shrubs or something to kind of like obscure this build from the city. Or, you know, maybe we like have a little park here and these are kind of part of the park. That can make sense. We'll do some like nice paths and like some nice trees, and this can be like a little park area with a lighthouse and a old castle that they didn't want to tear down when they built the city or something. That could be cool. We covered up the mob farm. I think I showed that last episode. That's underneath this big dirt mound. Really can't even tell it's there. You know, except for it's massive and right there. But yeah, we'll have to slope this down to get down to that level, and you know, we can't go any less steep than this because of the mob farm. We could do like a sheer cliff thing here or something, but we're still going to have to slope this down a little bit. So the actual city will probably start somewhere around this area. We may curve it back around a little bit that way, but for the most part, it's going to be from here that way. Yeah, first things first, we're starting this episode off with a really, really big dig. Let's see how far we can get. I'd like to get the whole thing tore down, but we're going to at least get enough of it tore down and leveled out that we can do our first build in the city, because I want to start kind of getting a feel for the roads and the sidewalks and stuff in the city, because I feel like if we can get that in place, we'll be able to start to really envision what the city's going to look like down the line. Now it's time to go through a lot of tools, a lot of digging. You can see we repositioned the beacon. It's as central as I could get it. I think it'll reach far enough that we can have haste all the way across both these zones. All right, we've already got one build done this episode, so now it's time to terraform. Here we go. Well, we have to interrupt our big dig because we've received a suspicious package. Now, I happened to see someone with one of these on their island. I guess that kind of gives it away already. There's only so many people on islands. But I'm not sure if it was a present for him or if he was working this device up. I mean, let's be honest. The shape, the color, it's concerning. But my guess is that it's a chest in there. I don't think there's any kind of redstone that could work in a shape like this. So I'm thinking it's just like a sale tactic for an upcoming shop, maybe? We'll see. All right, I'm just gonna dig right in the front because you have to be brave when you're doing things like this. Sorry about the bed bombs. Ah, yes. It is a dragon fight apology. Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, he was definitely a contributor, but it wasn't just Pineapple blowing people up with beds. Although maybe it was his original idea. I did see in his video that it was a premeditated attack. 2 diamonds. That's an acceptable apology. All is forgiven.
I hate the way they always kiss in the kitchen, acting like they're still just 21. They always seem to go for walks on Sundays and doing things they did when they were young. So I'll ask when I go home, but maybe the whole point's not to know what's the secret to keeping the love alive. What's the secret to keeping the love alive for so long?
That was a lot of digging. The area looks a little bit different now. You may notice there are 2 less giant hills. We dug a significant amount of blocks. I mean, this thing, I say this every episode, but once again, I continue to do the same things. This was so much bigger than I expected it to be. We streamed this, and I barely got through like 1/4 of one of the hills. And I did that for like 2 hours of just like straight digging. But we did finally, through perseverance and sheer determination, level both of these hills down to this Y level. Now, you may think this looks a little strange, and that's because it does, but I think I have a plan. So right now, this is a huge flat area, and we're actually gonna use the stone that we got from this hill and from this mountain thing that was here. It's like big, weird, generational, ugly, giant patch behind our house. We're gonna take all that stone and just make a huge flat area. As you can see, we've kind of already started to do. And I need to be really careful. I put some torches in here, but you can see it's getting a little dark over here. We gotta make sure we don't turn this into a mob farm, because then our mob farm won't function very well. But we're gonna level the whole area out, and then we're gonna build the city kind of up from there, if that makes sense. Our road surface will sit on top of this. And so are all like sidewalks and buildings. So you won't be able to see any of this big stone flat area, but it'll give us kind of a nice flat canvas to work with, and hopefully in the future save us from having to do very much terraforming at all. We still have to kind of transition these areas. So this hill will kind of slope down, and then I think some areas of the city we may end up changing the elevation like up or down slightly, but I really want to have like, I don't know, a big blank canvas when I start planning out like the areas of the city. I want to do a couple things, right? I want to make this thing a convincing city, but it also has to be within the scale that I can get it done as like a part-time YouTuber. You know, realistically, I only have maybe like 6 hours a week to like really dig in and do stuff in game in the world. So we need to make this a city that we can get done in one season of Lotus. But I want it to be big enough that it sells the effect. And I want to have like a big shiny new buildings district, kind of like a suburby area with like townhouses, like a lower district area with like older buildings, think like Philadelphia domed old buildings and stuff like that. And then maybe a park. I think I may integrate kind of our builds that already exist into like a nice little park area and do some like bigger custom trees around it. That's all still pie in the sky thinking, because for now, we've got to get it all flattened out, get it leveled, and use up all the stone that we dug to get a nice area here to work with. And in the future, like I said, I might lower some areas, which means we'll have to kind of mine this back out, which isn't ideal, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get like a good vision for what we're going to do unless I do that ahead of time. Go take a look. We did get a bunch of resources from this. I got like 30 shulker boxes just full of pure stone. In hindsight, maybe I should have converted some of that to cobblestone, but we already have a bunch of cobblestone, and even though our cobblestone generator blew up, it did fill up like 8 double chests with cobblestone before it died. But yeah, all of these gray shulkers are stone. Now we did have like 3 or 4 rows already full of stone, but we've extended that significantly. And we've already used like 5 shulker boxes, kind of flattening the area that you can see already. And then these are all completely full of dirt, except for the last one, which is like, no, actually they're all full. I lied. Every single one of these totally full of dirt. So if we need to make some mud or do some terraforming, we should be good to go resource-wise for a while. We're not going to update the map yet because I want to have like this really cool effect when we get the area flattened out. I want to grab the map and kind of update it then. So we're going to hold off just a little bit longer, which probably for you won't be that long. I did learn, I think in the other video, this only showed to like right here because the map render distance is based on your location, which I didn't realize. So it was only revealing as far as I could actually see. So you do have to kind of like grab the map and run over to the area, which isn't great, but now you know how maps work because I didn't. So we do have this huge area, but obviously this looks a lot different. So yeah, it was bigger than I even was showing that time. So it's a pretty big area that we're building for this city. And I think once we get it flattened, it'll give us another good thing. You can see the iron farm facade's not even showing yet. Given all that information dump and explanation dump, I don't think we're gonna get a building built in the city today, which I really wanted to get our first kind of bricks laid. Foreshadowing for the first build, I think it's going to be a brick building. Again, don't hold me to anything I say because things change around here by the moment. We're not going to get a building built because we've come into a business opportunity. We're going to be co-founding a rocket shop with Morg on the Mushroom Island. So we're going to be selling rockets. We already have the mob farm and like more gunpowder than we could ever use. And we've got a sugarcane farm. We may have to scale it up, or maybe Morg will build a sugarcane farm as his part of the duo. Although he did design the building, which is probably the hardest part, honestly. But yeah, it's a really cool build. I'm excited for you to see it momentarily. But before we even do that, we've got one other thing coming up. I think we're going to hop on a stream with Slip this evening and do a trial run. He's never done a trial chamber before, and I've kind of never done a legit trial chamber. So I have obviously full cleared the one underneath my house, and I've pacified all the spawners, but I kind of cheesed it. I would like jump in, cover up all the spawners so they couldn't dump any mobs on me. And I would like run to safe areas and fight mobs, but I think it'll be fun to go in there with Slip and like fight one of these things legit with like a sword, a shield, and just take on the mobs as they come. And I also want to bring some ominous potions for us, and we can turn it into like a real big boy chamber. And hey, maybe we'll even get a mace. I haven't opened up like the big boy chests in my trial chamber to see if we have a mace sitting down there already. We also got like, I don't know, 20 stacks of just raw coal ore, which we're not even really using coal anymore because we have the lava generators, but you know, whatever. We'll have torches for days. I guess that's good. We don't have to worry about torches for the rest of the season because these Y levels of stone are just loaded with coal, as you can see. So we ended up with a bunch of that, which is good. It's a very useful resource to have. What else did we do? We did work on a couple side projects because that took forever and I had to like get my brain right because you just, I mean, when you dig for that long, it's just so monotonous. So I ran over here real quick, kind of did some future planning. We built a quick little sheep farm to collect our wool. So we're going to be making our pavement out of a lot of black wool, or at least the predominant block's going to be black wool, I think. I just kind of like the texture that black wool has. It has this like, it almost looks like pavement to me where, of course you can't see anything in here. It's too dark. We'll go outside. It almost looks like pavement to me because it has like a little bit of a texture to it. So it just, I don't know, it gives off the right vibe for me. Does that not look kind of like tar to you? I don't know. Maybe that's just just me. But we're gonna use this for the most of our roads, so it's gonna be a significant block. And those little wool farms, they may not seem like much, but you come back after a couple days of just hanging around the base, and I guarantee those double chests will be just totally full of wool. It's kind of crazy how much they produce. And we're only gonna build like roads and the sections as we go, so I think we're gonna have plenty of wool. I'm not too worried about that. And that's probably gonna be like a pretty early design part of the city, is just kind of laying out some roads and blocks and getting some stuff figured out in that manner. Now, we'll probably move roads around and change stuff as we go, but it'd be nice to kind of get a nice little grid system set up and kind of get ideas of where like the different plots for buildings are going to be. Probably the most planning I've ever done for a build, but it might be interesting to kind of do some pre-planning for the area. And we also found Slip's little underground railroad entrance. I had found Skipper's before, where it goes between Skipper and Slip, but I knew this existed. Like I knew he had built one here, but I hadn't actually found the opening yet. So now we have this. I came down and did a couple upgrades, because when I first came down here, he just had these as like live rails, and there was no way to like launch your cart other than to just set it on the rail and jump in it really fast. So we actually put, you can see I still have the materials in my inventory. We actually put like a powered thing here, and you have a button now. You can kind of hop in the rail and push the button and it shoots you across. I really wish minecarts were faster. I wonder if we should just consider putting in, because I know like Mefert wants to build like a legit railroad across the entire server that kind of connects everyone. And I hope to build some kind of like subway thing as part of our system to kind of tie into that, but that's still very much in early development, but that would be really cool. And it's so perfect for a city to have like a subway system. But yeah, I added these buttons on both ends, and these powered rails so that we can stop. I also added this switch. So originally this just kind of zoomed by and you had to jump off to go to my direction. But now I have it set so that if Slip comes this way, you just hit this little button and it changes the direction. And if you're coming down the road on a rail cart, you can kind of catch it ahead of time if you want to just keep going, and vice versa if you're coming from Skipper's. So yeah, a couple neat things there. I didn't run down to Skipper's side real quick. Maybe we should do that and see and make sure his is set up, because I went down to Slip's and made sure, and someone actually had already put a button down there, so I think it was just me that for some reason didn't have the old button set up. What is this? Wait, is that Skipper? Oh, I wonder if this is gonna go all the way down to the ocean, and that sign was like to Skipper, or oh, look at that, he's already started a little side project there, I think. Yeah, this is the ocean. So like this should be a block with a powered rail, right? It shouldn't just end. Although I guess if you ride this up to here, is it a cactus that'll break a minecart? Maybe we should try to do some of that stuff. I don't know. I kind of want to figure out some of this circuitry stuff, but I also think that the reality is Mefert's gonna do a lot of that, so I don't want to steal his thunder too much. And minecarts are kind of slow and not that useful, but they're fun to play around with. I like how this one comes out underwater. I just think this is really cool. It'd be fun to shoot that all the way across to the Mushroom Island, so you have like a cool little way to get there, but that's everything up till now, I think. We gotta flatten this area out. We're gonna go do a trial chamber with Slip, and we're gonna open a business with Morg selling rockets, because let's be honest, we're not profiting that much yet, and we need to make some diamonds. Let's get to work. It might not be pretty, but this is the start of something beautiful. We have flattened a very large area, and I feel like it doesn't even look as big as it is. I mean, obviously it's big. This thing is enormous, but I don't know what I was expecting, but in my brain, I was like, oh, this will be like outside. I didn't even bother to cut down this tree because I was just so fed up with placing stone blocks that I didn't want to stop until it was all placed. So I just went right around it. Fix it later. We're doing it live. Yeah, this is a huge area, and it was a lot of stone blocks. We went through like, I don't know, we can go look in a second, but I think we went through like 10 shulker boxes of stone to flatten out like the open areas and the edges. It was a lot. Digging the hills was a lot, but I can already see the vision. And on top of getting this all dug, we got our shop built with Morg, which you probably saw in the time lapse, but let's go look at it. Get a little walk down of it. it. It's still not 100% complete. We didn't have all the materials gathered for like the detail blocks and stuff, but you know, we had enough of it. Oh, I have my boots off. We didn't have like all the blocks we needed for like all the really tiny details. We've got like a couple more little cool pieces to put around the build that's just kind of like, you know, make up for the build. But the structure's up and the shop's open. We went through, we had what, 6 double chests full of gunpowder, and I think we used up 3 of them for the initial stock. Curious to see if we've had a lot of purchases, because at this point in time, it's now been open for, I don't know, like 24 hours, I guess, is probably at this point. And there's probably gonna be an initial rush is my guess, because I know a lot of people have been squeaking by with a couple rockets. Put one of our coveted launch pads here. We're gonna go check the wind charge shop inventory after this too, because I've been putting these up around the server, and I've noticed a couple other people have put some up as well. So I'm thinking the old wind charge purchases is starting to come up. Right before I went into like the time lapse for flattening that area and building this shop, I think I said something about, oh, we haven't made very much money yet, so we gotta get a new shop. And I have a feeling we're gonna go over there and see a lot of diamonds, but we'll see. This is all of our extra shulkers. I love this. Morg just kind of took everything and piled it in it. It kind of sells the garage effect. I love it. Little garage door opener detail. By the way, this is all Morg. I simply helped place blocks. I came up with like a couple detail stuff. I like modified these pumps some, and I came up with like a cool idea to put a little gas tank, but even the fence around it was Morg's idea, so not even this is, oh yeah, I made a little propane tank, and you know, we've got some other small stuff. I think Morg has a design for a dumpster we didn't have the blocks for, but yeah, here's the shop. We sell 1 diamond for 2 stacks for regular rockets. Look at that, 4 diamonds already. Kind of surprised there's not more gone actually, but I think we did restock some after our first customer, and oh yeah, see, people have just been going deeper into the shop, so yeah, not bad. We paid like 8-10 diamonds in 24 hours. I don't think a lot of people have been on in the last like 24 hours, so I have a feeling that we'll get a lot more sales, and hopefully they see this video and buy more. Obviously rockets aren't like hard to craft, and like everyone can pretty much make it work, but as you get later in the season, people will just not want to do it as much as my guess, and I feel like as time goes on, we're just gonna get more and more and more sales, so I think we're gonna be sitting pretty good in our diamonds. I mean, it's no enchanted book sales, but I think rockets is probably like second best thing you could sell, but not bad. We went a little cheap, I think, but people need rockets, and it seems kind of weird to gouge people for like a major mode of travel, but I feel like I didn't give you guys a good view of this thing, but he absolutely nailed the shape of this like awning, I guess you'd call it. The way this like slopes up, oh, I just love it. The rocket looks amazing. It's got the cool banner sign. Yep, pretty cool guy, Morg. Probably, I don't know, maybe go watch his latest video. Subscribe to his channel. That's just an idea. This is actually a variant of his starter base for the season, I believe. So he's going with like a Fallout theme. Essentially, we try to make his home base, or his starter base, I guess you'd call it. It's not like a starter base because we all started on Camper Island, but his initial base for he's building long term, and we prettied it up. So like it had a lot more like diorite, and there was like light bulbs missing, and there was patches and holes because it's more like run down and in Fallout universe. So we made like a pretty new version of it essentially. But we've added another revenue stream to our business. We're now 2 of the best forms of transportation, in my opinion: wind charges and rockets. Not bad. Let's see if anyone has actually purchased any wind charges. Oh yeah, 38 diamonds. Nothing in the middle chest. Oh, 56 diamonds, not bad. Nobody wants any magma cubes, no surprise there. Oh, someone bought some string. I think I'll drop the price on that. I think 4 diamonds per 1 stack was maybe, I think I might literally put that down to 1 diamond per stack. That might have been a little high. It was, you know, you never know for your initial price what to set your stock at. I may have gone a little overboard there. I know I was desperate for it, so I thought people were like really gonna want string, but now I have a whole bunch of it from the mob farm, so there's just no reason to leave this price this high, so we'll probably drop that down to 1 diamond per stack. Yeah, not bad. A whole stack of diamonds, and I have restocked these over the past couple weeks. There weren't nearly as many as that in terms of purchases, but we have sold some here and there, so we probably made about 1.5 stacks of diamonds so far off wind charges, which, you know, it's not the easiest thing to farm. Look at that, 2 streams of revenue: wind charges and rockets. We're in the money now. Let's head back over to the base real quick. Oh, actually, I want to swing into Pineapple's base as we fly by here. So I've had this like running joke for a few weeks now. I don't think I've put it in my videos yet, funnily enough, but it has made its way into a lot of other Lotus members' videos, so if you do end up watching some other perspectives, keep an eye out for little cobs. I've just been putting mini-me's everywhere on the server. If anyone from Lotus is watching this, you can destroy them if they're annoying, but I just think they're hilarious. And I have a little guy fishing here on Pineapple's crane. I've got a little mini-me version over here at Skipper's base. who I've got, I think I have him dressed up as a, what's the name of the axe wielding evil guys? I can't remember their names, but anyway, yeah. He's a little pillager guy with an axe. Pretty cool. This was before I like really started getting into the armor stand, so, you know, kind of a basic pose, but I like the head with the axe. I still think it's a good one. Nefertz, I'm pretty happy with this one. I was inspired by, have you ever seen pictures of like a dung beetle rolling those like mud balls? So I figured if he had a mud shop, what if we had a little mini me over here pushing some mud around? So I made a little me to move this mud block. It doesn't look like he's doing a very good job at it, and it doesn't look like it's a little bit heavier than he can handle, and these don't roll as good as, you know, those typical mud balls. But yeah, these are fun. But anyway, if you're watching other perspectives, keep an eye out. There's mini me's everywhere. You really never know when you might see one. He's a handsome little guy. I think next episode we'll do some city planning and definitely build our first building. I feel a little bit bad that we didn't really get our own build in this episode, but I just had to get a clean slate so that I could really kind of visualize it. And this is gonna make it so much easier when we start laying out roads everywhere in terms of like planning what each city block kind of looks like shape and size wise. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll start planning out the shapes. We probably won't place all the roads at first because that's gonna be a ridiculous amount of black wool, but we'll at least get like major intersections done and then maybe just like an outline for some of the other roads. I think I want to keep, I don't know, I don't want to have one building per block, but I definitely want to keep it like small little chunks so that when you're like right there in the middle of the city, you feel like surrounded by the buildings and it feels like you're in a city, if that makes sense. We'll see, you know, it's Minecraft. We'll see if we can sell that effect, but that's my plan and my hopes and my aspirations. There's a lot of season left and a lot between now and then, but if I can make it happen, that's the goal. But that is definitely all that we have time for this episode. But if you made it this far in the episode, I appreciate you. Consider subscribing. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? We had some oat violations to clear up. What do you think? I think that our terraforming is at least, you know, acceptably aesthetic now, but we might get some kind of environmental notice now. I'm not too sure about the drainage coming out of the gas station. I may have gotten a little carried away, but it was killing me that our gas station here was floating above the land. And I definitely underestimated how much of it. It turns out it was mostly not on the ground. So I had to do this all the way around. All of this edge is all brand new dirt, which I know you probably saw in the intro, but. And then I think it was Driftweeb had the idea. I actually did a quick little like random lunch stream when I was working on this. I think it was Driftweeb that had the idea. What if we had some drainage coming out of the gas station and it was polluting the waters? And then look, our Fallout gas station pollution caused the pufferfish to turn into these massive laser shooting monsters, which also, you know, are actually a pretty good ink farm. So that's handy. We gotta get some LAs over here and we've got a built-in ink farm for our gas station, but yeah. So our pollution caused a guardian to mutate from a pufferfish. What do you know? You gotta be careful around here. It's again, this is our pre-war Fallout, but you can see, even then, they didn't really have their environmental policies in check, which, you know, probably led to their inevitable doom. I thought this was pretty cool. We did like a little bit of slime. Slime was the best. I tried some green glass, and it does have like a nice brown to it, but the slime blocks obviously just help really sell that like oozy, gooey. And this is just grates with some like black concrete behind them, so it kind of sells it as like a dark void. For some reason, slime blocks under the water go transparent, which is kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I think it still works. It kind of looks like the pollution is like dissolving into the water, I guess, but so the episode's only just begun, and we've already cleared up 2 oat violations, because we had one back at the base as well, which we're going to go to next. It was a much smaller one. We had a tree coming through our, if you remember that tree that we left that like kind of came through our city foundation? Well, Oat noticed it almost immediately and left us a little sign, but that's okay. We cleaned it up and I took care of our little Oat man that left our violation. Let's check our stock real quick while we're here, because you never know. Look at that, 2 diamonds. So not much, not much. I did check the stock last night, so probably wasn't really anyone on last night between then and now, but hey, we did get 1 little purchase, so. Sales continue at the old rocket shop. The build's still not quite done. It looks like we have a few more trees. Actually, this might have been I wonder if this was a morgue intentional decision so that we weren't like blocking the view of the gas station. I'm guessing that was the case now that I'm looking at it. We got the trees up and we got the terraforming done around the base. There's still a few more detail stuff that we didn't quite get finished, but the shop is effectively complete. We'll throw some more stuff up over time. This build is like pretty fun, so I think we can do a lot more stuff throughout the season. Like maybe eventually we'll add some like Fallout style cars or something driving around the parking lot. I'd like to add some like find a way to add white lines so that you can actually have like delineated parking spaces or something. I think that could look cool. I don't know. There's a lot of little detail stuff we could do with this. Morg mentioned trying to get some kind of vending machine put up in here somewhere. I think that could be really fun. I don't know. Gas station has like a lot of cool details you can do. We've got bigger and bolder plans for this episode. We are going to start the city planning. After I check my shop over here real quick. Look at that. 2, 4. Man, we are raining diamonds. We dropped our string price and now it's only 1 stack for 1 diamond, which is fair. I think Maddie was the only person to purchase any at the full price. Let's head back over to the base and start working on some city planning. Let me just shut this off real quick so it's not interrupting us constantly. Make sure I don't forget to turn that back on. I know you won't actually be able to see when it happens, but I really don't want to forget that I turned this farm off because that is our rocket shop gunpowder supply, so we don't want to mess with that too much. But this is the plan for today's episode. I want to get at least this section of roads laid. I don't think we're going to get the whole platform done because that is a significant amount of wool. And also, I think I'm going to use smooth stone for the sidewalks, and that is like a double smelt because you have to convert cobblestone into stone and then stone into smooth stone. So I don't think we're going to get all of the roads laid. Plus, I don't think we want to get too far ahead of ourselves in case, we end up not liking the road width, or we may decide to change the elevation over here some too to like add some dynamics to the city. So for now, we're going to focus on just this kind of half over here. I want to put down just some like white concrete blocks because those are going to be the center lines of the roads. So I think if we can get some like lines together and like kind of get an idea. I want to have like a loop, I think, and then I want like 1 dead end cul-de-sac. I think I want to have a road that goes all the way down the middle-ish. I guess we're not quite in the middle here, but goes from end to end from the city. And then I'm not sure about the outsides of the city. We kind of have 2 major decisions to make. Like, do we want the back sides of the buildings to be right against the edge of the city, or do we want a road that kind of goes down the backside? I'm really not sure what I want to do there. I'm thinking a road. And then like a nice like cultivated tree line on the other side of that road to kind of delineate the city from the forest. But first things first, let's get some blocks down and kind of map out where our roads are going to be. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, we got the initial layout done, but it's raining out and it's hard to see, so while we're waiting for the rain to clear up, let's run over to the Mushroom Island and we gotta buy some bricks and hopefully some terracotta. Let's hope Draconis and Slip have stocked their shops. And while we're flying here into the trade district, I think we'll hop in the rocket shop real quick and see if we've made any sales. I've seen a few people on here and there, so look at that. 2 more diamonds. We're making sales. We're making diamonds. Actually, probably should have taken those, but we'll leave them for now. Because we got to make some purchases here at Draconis' shop and over at Slip's Terracotta shop. But let's check these 2. All right, 4 diamonds. I just checked these like yesterday, so that's actually not bad. Oh, someone bought our string at its new lowered price as well. That's nice. All right, let's grab some diamonds in here. 57 ought to be enough. And I got some shulkers here that we can hopefully fill up. We're going to need a decent chunk of bricks. Let's see what these are going for in here. All items, except individual bricks, are 1 diamond per slot. So I'm thinking, so individual bricks are 1 diamond per 3 slots, which is these, and then everything else is 1 diamond per slot. So let's see, that's bricks, and that's bricks. So there's only 2 things of bricks. All right, how many diamonds is 1 barrel? We've got 57 here. 30, so 27 diamonds per barrel. Yeah, we're just gonna buy both. We're just gonna clean them right out. Can we place this way? Yeah, okay, we can still open it. I was worried we wouldn't be able to open it once I placed it. it's important to share our wealth, and we've been doing pretty well here on the server as of late. So we have to stimulate the brick economy, just like that. 27 diamonds. Not a bad day for Draconis. So our first build in the city is actually kind of going to be 3 separate builds, and it is still raining, unfortunately. But, oh, terracotta. Crap, we used most of our diamonds. I think we only need like 3 stacks of terracotta, because we've got some terracotta already at home. Where's the... Wow, no bank here. This terracotta shop really needs some work. I mean, he doesn't have a cash register, he doesn't have a bank. I mean, I'm getting rained on while I'm trying to... I mean, it's really disrupting my shopping experience. It's just rain constantly falling on my head. That's alright, that's alright. Just saying, someone that works at a company that, you know, critiques other people's terraforming, we should work on their, you know, weatherproofing of their shop a little bit, but that's fine. The 1 diamond per 2 stacks. We're gonna have to dye it anyway. It doesn't look like he has... I need light brown terracotta, or light gray terracotta. It doesn't look like that is for sale here. Prices vary. 1 diamond for 2 stacks. They're all 1 diamond for 2 stacks. Regular terracotta, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5. What is this, 58 terracotta? Is he trying to rip someone off? We'll go ahead and leave him a little tip, because we're feeling generous today. Alright, throw these back in here. We'll keep those diamonds outside of our little money box, because I like to have some at quick access. Alright, we checked the shops. We got terracotta. We got bricks. We spent a lot of diamonds. I guess we'll head back over here and hopefully the rain stops so that I can start showing you kind of some of our city planning we've done. I guess we'll head back over here and I'll kind of show you some of the city planning that we've been doing. Oh, you see it just barely in the distance there. I really kind of wish this rain was... Oh, it's about to sleep. We're gonna wait till tomorrow. We're gonna wait till the rain goes away and then we can get a nice clear picture. All right. The sun is out and it's a beautiful day. Let's take a look at what we got going on over here. Now, obviously I didn't get all of the roads placed or all the sidewalks or anything, but we've started to kind of get a feel for what like the size of the roads are going to be, how the sidewalks are going to look, and how we kind of want to lay our roads out. Let's actually fly up to our AFK spot and get a better vantage point from up here. So a nice little bird's eye view. So this is what we've got so far. A couple things. I want to do some varying road widths. So you can see these are kind of like a little bit wider. It's kind of hard to tell from way back here, I guess. It's like subtly different, but the cross-sectional roads are 5 blocks wide. And then kind of like the north to south roads, or I guess east to west roads, are 7 blocks wide. Some of the roads are going to be bigger, some of the roads are going to be smaller. I just want kind of varying sizes, just so you get like a different feel and the whole city doesn't feel the same, if that makes sense. I also think having like this narrower road is going to make this little corner street here feel really like tight and secluded, which I think could be interesting. I want to have some roads that dead end like these ones, so that when you're back on this back street, you'll be completely surrounded by buildings. Now, not all the buildings are going to be skyscrapers. For instance, our first builds are going to go right here, what we're building today. And they're not huge, but they're big enough that when you're standing on the ground, you won't really be able to see past them. And then if you have some really tall buildings here in the middle, like some kind of, I'm thinking about like a big church in the middle of the city or something for this square. I'm not sure yet, but something like that. I mean, we've got a huge palette here, so we're going to have to get some real diversity in this city. But for now, this is kind of our shape. We've got a couple cut-throughs, a couple main drags, and a nice little cul-de-sac thing here. And that's what we've got so far. Now, the first thing to do is to start putting some buildings in it. So I think that's next step, is we're gonna build our first few buildings here. Now, I'm not gonna do interiors for everything in the city, but I will do interiors probably for one of these buildings. At least a building like here and there in the city that you can actually go into and interact with would be interesting. And we can like, you know, this is probably going to be like some kind of library building. Maybe we put our librarians in there or something, some reason to explore the city. I know we've got them in the basement right now, but my goal isn't to keep everything in the basement forever. So as we complete stuff, we can kind of move our farms and our different like villagers into the city. And then hopefully, you know, over time, the city is our base, right? First steps first, we're gonna start laying some bricks because we just spent a lot of diamonds and we probably bought way too many, but I think we're gonna have a lot of brick buildings in the city. So I figured, why don't we just stock right up and then not have to worry about it in the future? Resource gathering is probably like one of the biggest time sinks, and I really want to spend a lot of time building in the next few episodes, so anytime we can get ahead on resources, it's going to be worth it for us. So this is the home for our first, I think it's going to be 3 separate buildings, but they're going to be like very similar palettes and very similar structure, if that makes sense, but they'll, you know, each one will vary slightly in some way. And then we'll do a light interior on the middle one. We'll see how detailed I get on that. Honestly, it's just going to be how much time do I have to get it done. That's how much detail we'll get. And then I think after we get those builds done, maybe we'll just fill out all of our sidewalks and roads. I don't know if we have quite enough wool. It's a lot of wool. Even just like the little areas here that I did that don't seem like that much was probably like 10 stacks of black wool. So it's gonna take a significant amount to fill out this whole area. And if we go look over here at our wool farm, now I have pulled out like 10 stacks of wool, I think. So this isn't all of it, but what have we got? Yeah, so we've got another probably like, what is that, 9, so probably 15 stacks of wool, and then another 15 maybe or so, whatever it is. We've got a decent little chunk here, but this is definitely not enough to do all the roads, so we'll kind of fill out the roads as we get, you know, enough wool over time. I don't really want to expand the farm because once the roads are done, we won't really need black wool anymore, so I think if we just keep, you know, keep staying in the area and keep that thing active, we'll get enough wool over time. But let's start building some stuff and bring some life to this city. I'll see you in a minute. Hopefully it looks a lot better then. And here it is, the first 3 buildings in our city. They're a little decrepit, they're a little dilapidated, but I think, honestly, I think having the 2 abandoned buildings kind of to either side kind of adds a little bit more character to our one building that we did like a little interior for. We did 3 wide sidewalks. I mean, you kind of saw some of this already when I was laying out the roads and sidewalks, but this is a really good idea of kind of like what the typical city street is going to look like. So we're going with polished andesite stairs, and we're doing these little flipped ones every so often for like sewer runs. Right now, I just kind of threw some black wool in here, but I'm going to go back through with black concrete, I think, because it'll help it look like a deep, dark void a little better. And I do eventually want to put an actual sewer system under the city, but until we get a lot of this like above ground stuff done, I really don't want to go down there and get too deep on that project. Let's get a nice pretty face for the city first. But yeah, here's our building. And we got our 2 little decrepit buildings either side of it. I kind of liked having like 3 similar buildings on the street. If you've ever driven through like an older city or even some of the newer cities, the buildings typically look pretty similar, like street to street. But I thought it would be cool to kind of put 3 kind of slightly varying roofs and, you know, different window sizes, and then these 2 are clearly like abandoned and no longer used. So the plan is to kind of start with this kind of style and kind of move nicer and nicer and nicer until like that corner, I want to have a big cob tower, I think. I think it's going to be like the biggest building in the city. So rather than the city having like a peak skyline, I kind of want the city to sweep up, if that makes sense. So like smaller, older buildings down here, and then slowly get more modern and bigger and high rises and skyscrapers until finally it peaks over here in the corner somewhere. That's the plan. As we get buildings placed, you know, we can change stuff up. We're not committed to anything here, but that's kind of my vision for now. So yeah, here's our roads. Little, like I said, we're going with a black wool with the white concrete stripes. I like these little tree planters. I'm not sure about the frequency of them and the size. This is kind of just like my test run at it, I would say. These are easy enough to put up and take down, so I wanted a little bit of green in the city, especially in this area. As we get to like the more modern areas, we'll probably do more like storefronts and signs and flashy stuff. But it felt like in the older area, there should be some like trees and greenery, some like moss and dirt on the buildings, things like that, to kind of make it feel older and more like, you know, to just help the area feel a little older and, you know, less traveled, if that makes sense. Yeah, we did a quick little interior. It's kind of like a little bookshop. I don't know if library is probably the right. It's just not big enough to be called really a library in my mind, but I think it's a bookshop. Like maybe like a used book exchange or something like that. We definitely need a lot more details in here, but I think we got enough in here to kind of get the vibe for what it is. Got a nice little staircase up here. I really wanted to do like a looped around walkway. I kind of wish the opening was a little bit bigger, but I think the effect is still there. So yeah, just think of this like a used book exchange, or just like just think of this like a used book exchange, or just like I don't know, just kind of a cool, trendy little bookstore in the way back of the city. Ah, there it is. Deep slate for our roofs and trims, a little brick and granite for some texturing. I even did this little like packed mud. Packed mud. This is actually rooted dirt, which I had to go find, by the way, which I didn't realize how much of a pain in the butt rooted dirt is. I had to go find an azalea tree on the surface, and if you dig underneath like a naturally spawning one, because they go down to a lush cave, there's actually a bunch of rooted dirt below them. So I got like 10 stacks of rooted dirt by just digging like a 5x5 area all the way down and just collected as much of it as I could. And then I only used like 32 of it because I just used it like here and there for texturing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. We finally got some builds in the city, which is great. The roofs are a little flat, but I feel like that's just kind of the style. Let me throw my wings on here real quick. The roofs are like a little flat, but I feel like that's just kind of the style for buildings like this. They are slab roofs, so hopefully we don't have to worry about mobs spawning up here too much. I'm not really sure about mob spawns on upside down stairs, so these probably aren't spawn proof, but you know, it is what it is. We've got a cool little alleyway between them, which I like. We'll probably put more, again, we have like a bunch more details to do, but I think I want to get like a decent little chunk of buildings in this kind of corner done. And then we'll come back through, we'll probably do a whole episode that's just like adding like trash bags and like maybe fencing in some of the alleyways for like dead end stuff. I did a little bit of graffiti over here on this building, just kind of testing out some like white concrete, kind of like partial letter shapes. This one kind of says CB, you know, Cobb. Yeah, I'm super happy with the result. I really like the sidewalk size, the road size. Some people I've seen in city builds do slabs for their sidewalks, so it's like a smaller step up. And I feel like it makes it, like it does feel like a pretty big step up to the sidewalk, but I just really like the look of this like being a true curb. And at least the cities and areas that I've been in recently, the curbs are like really extremely defined, so I just feel like that really sells the effect more than a slab, but you know, it's everyone's personal choice. And then the sidewalk, I just went with the smooth stone. It's got the most like perfectly square, like a cement pad. We'll probably go back through and try to texture it, put in some like cracked bricks and stuff everywhere. Maybe we'll do like a nice little cobblestone area, just like the older, less upkept area of the city. But I also want to do like an older section of the city that's more like pubs and like old brick buildings and like cobblestone streets. I think that could be really cool, like a little like trade district in it too, maybe. We're past the dark, but I actually think, oh, they're gonna sleep. But I do think this looks super cool. See the light shines through these windows in the darkness? I just think it looks so cool, especially with these two in contrast, and you can like see that there's life in the middle of the building, and it just really helps kind of make it stand out. Originally, I was just gonna do this one build, and it just kind of didn't do well on its own. It just needed more around it. So this was kind of like the perfect compromise to kind of extend it to more area. But yeah, there we go. The ground is laid. We've got a kind of pattern decided, and we've got the first buildings in the city. That's all we have time for today. If you made it this far in the episode, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? We're back on Lotus. We've been away for a bit. We spent some time in the old school world, but it's time to continue the city. We also need to check in on our rocket shop because we have been slacking in terms of stocking. I don't think we're out of rockets yet, but my guess is inventory has gotten pretty low. So we got to get the rocket shop stocked up, and we also need to get this building built, which I think our next building is going to go right here, and it's going to be a tall building, but not quite skyscraper level, if that makes sense. I think this next building is going to be somewhere in the middle, because as I've talked about in like previous episodes, I really would like the city to kind of slope up. So this will be a pretty tall building, and then obviously as we get to this side, these buildings will be like this like big square here. I think it's going to be like 3 really big towers or something. Like, I haven't planned like the city building designs ahead of time, so I'm kind of making them as I go. So we'll see, but these buildings are going to be very big. And yeah, that's what we need to do. We're going to need a whole bunch of concrete. I think we're going to go with like a gray concrete color palette. And then I want to use mangrove wood to kind of highlight and accent the build. And I'm not looking forward to it, but we're gonna have to go cut down a whole bunch of mangrove trees. That's probably gonna be the worst gathering part of this entire project, but the concrete shouldn't be too bad. I already have a whole bunch of gravel, and there's a new dye shop in the shopping district, so I think getting the gray dye, we're just gonna buy it. I don't want to make an ink sac farm or a flower farm or anything like that. I think we're just gonna spend our hard-earned diamonds from the rocket shop and just buy the dye. So that's the beauty of playing on a server. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. Once we get the building done, if I have enough time, I'd like to go around the city and just kind of start putting in some more details. I want to put more of these trees in and things like that. And then I'd like to come up with a lamp post design. We'll see if I can get that figured out this episode. I'd like this area to be lit up so I can kind of hang out here in the nighttime. So more trees, lamp posts, a giant build, and stocking up the rocket shop. First things first, let's head over to the trade district and restock our rocket shop and buy some gray dye. I think we're going to need a couple hundred gray dye, so hopefully the pricing's not too bad. I haven't actually been in the store yet. In typical Lotus fashion, it is raining. It's always raining. Don't look over there too much. I don't think Mefurt's released his full episode yet of his giant build over there, so look forward to that as well. We've got quite the scenic view from our little starter base. Oh, spoilers over here too. I think Slip's episode will be out before mine, so I don't think I need to hide this, but he took my advice for my previous video on Lotus, and he added a more reasonable shopping experience. Look at this. We got no rain on our heads. Already bonus points there. He's got an ATM here, so I can access my diamonds. I'll take those now, in case the dye shop doesn't have its own ATM. But yeah, pretty cool little shop here he built. I love the aesthetic he's gone for here. It's a lot. There's a lot going on here. We've got moss, cobblestone brick, granite brick. I mean, it's just like a nice little, very organic wind farm, or windmill, I guess. I like it. And bamboo's a nice touch. I don't think of using like bamboo as greenery, but I see Slip uses it quite a bit around his builds, and it does have like a nice green to it. So then we need to use more bamboo. Anyway, what were we doing? That's right, checking our stock. I know no one's bought any wind charges yet. Wind charges may have been a dud, but I'm glad that we have them because I just like playing with them. I just think they're fun to use, so even if people aren't buying them, I'm glad that I have a really easy access to a whole bunch of them. All right, let's see. Very empty, very empty, very empty, mostly empty, mostly empty. And I actually already filled up these earlier, spoiler alert. This was completely sold out, and this one was half sold out, I think. So we've got quite the little split in here now between me and Morg. It's even now, but if we do get any extra diamonds, I think we all know they're going to end up on Morg's side because, you know, he was the brains behind the build, so he deserves the extra diamond. And he can't make me keep it, so that's just how it's going to be. I got to head back over to the base, though, because I didn't bring any sugarcane with me, and we can't really make rockets without paper, so I keep the gunpowder in my chest here because it's just in my basement, so every time I use it up, I just automatically refill it. But we do need paper for rockets. But while we're here, let's head over to the new dye shop and purchase some gray dye. This thing is awesome. It's like a really industrial brick greenhouse, the Dye Depot. The shopping district, I must say, oh, beautiful rainbow. The shopping district, I must say, is starting to fill out pretty nicely. We've got the big build for the sound museum. We've got, I think this is Luna's library over here. We got the Dye Depot. The bookshop is upgraded now, so we can purchase our enchanting books in a much nicer location, I believe this is. Oh no, this is Luna's library. Whoops. So this is Luna's library. Oh, there it is. This is the Lotus library, sorry. And then this is the new enchanting shop. So this is where we can now purchase all of our enchanted books. I haven't really needed to buy any in a long time, but this is a really cool build. I love the, I don't know what you would call this, like a balcony wraparound area. I love it. I love builds that like utilize a second level where you can still kind of see the whole thing. Just adds a lot of like height and depth to the area. Looks like the same pricing, and they even did chiseled books to really fancy the place up. All right, let's see what the damage is here for gray dye. we still need to start using more copper in our builds. We're really slacking in the copper department. We have a trial chamber right under our base. Maybe the next build. I don't think it's going to be in this one because I don't think it'll really... I don't know. The green could look nice with like because the gray concrete's like a little bit blue. Oops, that's a waste. So maybe you could get some copper in there. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think so. Oh, it made me nervous. I was like, oh no, gray. But there it is, gray dye. So I think we probably need like 250. So what is that? 5 stacks, I guess. It's gonna be a little bit more than we need, but 1 diamond per stack. That's actually kind of a steal. I'm sure they have like a flower farm or some kind of automated system, but still, I'll take it. There we go, gray dye. Now, hopefully we have enough gravel and sand at our base to make the concrete, which now that I say that out loud, I should probably check. Oh, I guess I don't know how to make concrete powder. We'll figure it out back at the base. All right, we got everything we need here. I believe that's all this new shops. Oh, I don't know if we've seen Mafurt's mud shop yet. He built the mud farm like day 1 on the server. I was wondering when he was finally gonna open this shop up. Everything is bought out. Check the stockpile. Oh, he's got like bulk extra storage, I guess. So you got your regular mud, packed mud, 1 diamond per 32. That's probably fair. Wheat is a real pain to gather, so there's really just no good automation for wheat other than just punching a whole bunch of wheat fields and replanting everything. So that's just kind of the way it is. We can go over here and check the wind shop real quick, but I don't think anything's going to be purchased. I've checked it the last like week or so, and I don't think there was one single, yeah. Totally stocked, totally stocked, totally stocked. 2 diamonds per 16. We could drop it down to 1 diamond, but honestly, everyone's just using rockets. Oh, look at that. Somebody bought a name tag. There you go. That wasn't a total waste of my time. I know 5 diamonds seems kind of steep for name tags, but it is like 24 emerald trade or something like that. Or maybe 12 emerald. It's a lot of emeralds for 1 name tag. And it's just such a hassle to trade back and forth and build up a stockpile of emeralds. So I figure if someone wants to sell them for cheaper, they can open up a shop. But if someone really needs one in a pinch, they can go there and buy one. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we gotta get mangrove wood. Let's head back over to the base. I'm just gonna grab some sugarcane, get this place stocked back up, and then we're gonna head over to the mangrove swamp and cut down a whole bunch of trees. Luckily, there's a pretty decent sized mangrove swamp on the like northeastern corner of the ocean here. So we'll head up there and just kind of deforest it. I thought about building like a tree farm or something, but I don't know. We're just not building with that much wood. And as we get more and more into like the concrete and brick and stone buildings, I think we're going to use even less wood. So for now, I think we'll just do it the old fashioned manual way, which, you know, with mangrove trees, it's pretty rough. We do have fast decay on the server, so the leaves disappear fast. So that helps a little bit, but they're still just so unruly to cut down. Pretty unfortunate. We'll drop our gray dye off here in the base in my perfectly organized storage area. I don't label any of these, but Slip still seems to find all the stuff he needs. So, I mean, I guess there's really no reason to. All right. I got a shulker box in here that's empty. I think between that and an empty inventory, that should be plenty of space. We need a lot of mangrove trapdoors, which is unfortunate because even though it's not gonna look like a lot of mangrove wood to make all the trapdoors and stuff, we're probably gonna need a decent little stockpile. So it's time for the first grind of the episode. We'll grab our, actually, you know what? We don't really need the hoe because the leaves have fast decay. So we really just need the axe. We're good to go. I don't think it's worth bringing the beacon. That's a little excessive. I'm off into the swamp to cut down a whole bunch of trees. I'll see you guys in a minute.
Follow me to my favorite tree. Well, I'm offering a steady hand. I could be your security. There's no guarantee on anything. And I'll take care of you along the way. My love, one day at a time will be.
Well, that went terribly. So we're just gonna do it here. Turns out when you have that many mangrove trees all growing next to each other, it gets really annoying to get the leaves to decay and disappear. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. get some scaffolding, put the mangroves in a little dirt spot, and cut them down one by one. Let's get back to it.
In our treetop view, well, it takes me to when I was young. I fell before, but I can't.
All right, that should be plenty of mangrove. We got all our trapdoors and stuff made. Let's tear the scaffolding down, and then we need to go and get. Then we need to go get kind of a tally on how much concrete we actually have. All right, let's head over to the base and get a tally on how much concrete we actually have. I know we had a decent amount of gravel and sand, but now that I'm thinking about it, we may have used up most of it. Also, is it sand? I actually don't even remember what concrete powder is. We do have some leftover concrete powder from, why did we make so much concrete powder? Oh, the lines in the roads were concrete, that's right. We made a bunch, yeah, so we've got half a chest, that should be enough. Is it sand and... I should probably know this, but here we are, you know? Well, I can't make it, so that's not a good sign. What is concrete powder? Gravel? Sand. Color. Oh, do you have to have the color? Oh, okay. So we just need the gray dye when we make it. All right, where's the gray dye that we purchased? One of these chests, here it is. We need all of this. We've got this sand and this gravel. And then I don't know if this is vanilla or not, but we have this leftover white concrete powder, and at least on the server, we can actually re-dye concrete powder. So yeah, we can convert this straight to gray, which is kind of nice. And then we can make this gray, so we'll have 5 left over, but you know, at least we didn't waste a whole bunch of it, right? So yeah, we need to go make a whole bunch of concrete powder, and then I actually built this device when I was I don't know if I showed this in an episode or not, now that I'm thinking about it. It's pretty simple. You put concrete here, so the observer sees it, right? And then you fill this thing up just with a whole bunch of concrete powder. And then this step is actually waterlogged. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of hard to the shaders. So as soon as you place the concrete, it is immediately turned into, you know, hardened concrete, and you mine it. And then this thing will drop you a piece every time you mine a piece, because the observer will see you mine it. So you can just do, like, you know, all these slots plus all your inventory. You can just crank out a whole bunch of concrete powder or concrete blocks while you're AFK. Kind of a nifty little device. I think this was the Ilmango. I honestly don't remember, but if you just look up compact concrete farm or something like that, I'm sure you'll find whatever this design was. All right, so we need to go convert all that gravel and sand into concrete powder, and then stand at this thing for a while and turn it into gray concrete. And then it's time to build in the city. I'll see you in a minute. All right, you've gathered all the materials, concrete, mangrove, and probably some other stuff. I had the weirdest moment. I did all of this stuff. Oh, some glass, some dark oak doors, you'll see, don't worry. A few deep sleet tile stairs for some details, and then a whole bunch of concrete. It's not a skyscraper, but it's definitely taller than those ones. It's kind of our little intermediate building, so I'm pretty excited to get this one up and start getting some kind of shape to the city. And then I think if we have enough time left after we build this building, I want to go through and just add more trees. I kind of want to add some like fences and some details in these alleyways. So let's get this building put up, and then we might do a little bit of detailing around the city just to kind of start to fill in the area and make it feel more, you know, lived in. But all right, let's place some blocks and get this thing put together.
When I came over to your house, I dreamt that I was bleeding out, and I woke with you inside of my mouth, and questions of the why and how again. Talked about, and
It's been a bit. Kind of one thing after another, and time just kind of got away from me. But we're back, and look, there's a big building here now. I didn't love how it turned out on the first build, so I actually went back and I added. I can remember what buttons are which. So I actually went back and added these like framing pillars. Of course, the sun's in like the worst possible position right now, but I went back and added these edge frame pieces. So originally it was supposed to be like a tiered building where each kind of thing was a slice, and it looked cool, but it didn't look like it belonged in a city with lots of buildings, if that makes sense. I still don't know if I love the final design. It's my first crack at a skyscraper. I think I want to do more with texturing. I like to be like here is kind of like an extreme example. This is the most texturing I've probably ever done, with like the granite and the coarse dirt and the dirt and the mud. But this is the other extreme where it is literally just gray concrete. I think this might even just be light gray concrete, and then obviously like the mangrove gives it a nice pop with the color, but I think I could have done more in terms of like color scaling from top to bottom so that it felt kind of darker down here and brighter up there, especially when we get buildings in around and next to this thing. I worry that it's going to look really flat next to other stuff, but it was our first attempt, and this city will kind of be a good example of us kind of learning to build in the big city style, and that's not a normal door. I can't open that. It's a big empty building right now, obviously. I don't really know what I want to do with it, honestly. I want to put some kind of farm in it. At first I was thinking, well, we have the gold farm. Maybe we should do like a piglin. I was picturing like a piglin bartering bank. I think, so there's been a lot of things going on just in life in general for me lately that I just like haven't had a lot of time to focus on this, which is, why this video is coming out probably weeks after the last one. Apologize for that. I haven't edited it yet, so it might be further still. But I didn't have a reason for this build. Even this build, I kind of had a little bit of a story where it's like, oh, it's the neighborhood bookstore. And that's kind of enough for me. I just needed something. And for this one, this is a big gray concrete tower. And that just wasn't enough. So I think it's going to be a piglin bank. It's going to take me a little bit to get piglin bartering set up. And I don't think I'll use like all of the levels all the way up to the top. But at least for this little bit, I'm picturing like some teller stations on like this wall and this wall. And then we can put more stuff up above. I did make a little bubble elevator so you can go up floor to floor. But on this bottom level, I think it'll be like a fun little piglin barter in place. I don't think it's going to be automatic or some big fancy farm, but just kind of a cool place you can come throw some gold to get some materials. I think that could be interesting. And that gives this building a reason to exist. And I need to make sure for my next build, I think about that ahead of time, because it was weird. It was almost like a lifeless build for me. There was just no reason for it to exist. And I had a really hard time with that. I just couldn't get motivated on it. I mean, I had a lot of other extenuating circumstances, but I think that was a big part of like my motivation. So on the next one, we'll get that figured out. I do still want to get some of these trees planted around here. So real quickly, or quickly for you, let's plant some trees around the city, get a little bit more life so it's not a big flat stone pathway. And then I'll check back in after I do that. I'll see you in a minute. And there it is, for now at least. We got some trees planted. I wanted to do more with the decorations and detailing around the city, but for now, this will have to do. The video still might be a little slow for the next few weeks, so bear with me. The trees definitely add a lot. I mean, at least eliminates like the really flat feeling the city had. And obviously, once the buildings are here, that'll be much better. But for now, at least this is something to kind of break up the visual line. And it's not just a mega flat super world. But here it is. Our first kind of skyscraper. We've got some decorations and a direction for how we're going to theme this building. Next episode, we'll probably try to get some piglins in here and at least get that set up. And then I think we're actually going to take a break from the city. I know it's already been a few weeks since we got this far, but I think we're going to do something Halloween themed for our next episode. At least that's the goal. And a lot of that's going to be being built down here to the south of my base, actually, is where we kind of decided as a server to build some Halloween themed stuff. And I'm excited to get going on that. I don't really have an idea for the Halloween build yet, so I can't really give you a teaser, but I'm going to try to do something cool over there, and then hopefully everyone else's builds come together nicely and it's a cool area. But here we are. We got a big building, we got some trees, and whatever else we do this episode, I don't know. It's been like 3 weeks since I filmed the first segment, so I honestly barely remember what even happened, but that's all we have time for today. You made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? We're back on Lotus, and I've been a little busy. I've just been tired of looking at this like 1 block thick stone platform that the whole city's been sitting on, so I just went around and did a little bit of like gentle shaping. I didn't quite finish up the whole thing, just don't worry about this edge right here. But if you look over here, we've got this wrapped around now, and this part of the city where it's like, you know, I wanted to leave room for potential future expansion, but realistically, I think we want to deal with filling up the space that we do have. But I think I actually want to take this area and turn it into like a big natural park. So we'll have like the nice forest area and then counterbalanced against like the really urban area. And that should give us a much more reasonable size here to fill up with buildings, because realistically, we still probably have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more builds probably, at least. And honestly, I want to like try to cram the city in pretty tight, so I left a little bit of gap between these buildings, you can see, and then in some areas there might be bigger gaps, and in some areas there might be one building immediately touching the next, like a townhouse style build. And I think that is the next build that I'm gonna go for. Is you have this really tall tower, so I want to stagger the skyline, right? So I think I'm gonna do like 3 builds right in a row right here, or maybe just 2. We'll see how wide they are when I actually get the design done. So we'll do like 2 builds coming off the side of this one, and that'll start giving us at least one little curb here that is all walled in by builds. And then I think the middle here is going to be our subway platform entrance, and then maybe just some like decorative stuff in this area. There are plans in the works, from what I understand, to build an interconnecting railway across Lotus. So when the time does come for that to happen, I want to have a nice little location to access that. So I think right underneath here is where we'll put like our little subway station. You'll have a big, nice surrounding of buildings, a subway station, and then obviously you'll still have this road, which continues down, you know, deeper into the city, and we'll do our really big buildings over here. I know I want to do at least 1 massive tower in the back corner, which I am obviously saving because that's going to be a lot of work, and I want it to be, you know, the exact design I want before I tackle something of that scale. But for now, I want to get at least 2 more buildings in right here next to this one. And I'm probably going to go for like a pretty different block palette, obviously, just to kind of give our... And I'm probably going to go for like a pretty different block palette just to give our city some variety. We've got our bricks, we've got our concrete, and I don't know, I'm having a hard time deciding like what I want to go with. And kind of how I talked about this build at the end of the last episode is like, this build never had a purpose when I was building it. And I've decided now that I want to turn it into like some kind of piglin bartering building. But I need to think of what I want to do with these 2 builds before I build them. So we'll see if we get to those this episode or not, but I do want to get this piglin bartering set up, and I want to just check out some stuff on the server. I've been in and out lately, and I kind of missed the Halloween antics, but I thought I could bring you guys over and kind of show you what Lotus has been up to the last few weeks. So I'm gonna head over there now, and it's not too far. You may have also noticed this, and I don't know, so I can't tell you why. It's just there. I don't know the reasoning. I know there's a Banana Boy giant statue at his base, so I'm thinking maybe it's a comment I made. He's holding I think it's a fire. He does like to place fire pits. If you remember from the live stream a long time ago, it's Slip. When we first went into Banana Boy's base, he had like chickens everywhere, and we just placed fireplaces across the entire floor of his build. What else? Oh yeah, so I was showing you this ridge here, and so we still have to do this corner, and we still have to do this back side. I may end up actually like sloping that corner down, but I also had to preserve, you know, our oat violation, which the unaesthetic bush is gone now, but the ground placement is still probably questionable in terms of oat violation status. So we gotta finish this little ridge line off around here, and that other side, honestly, I might actually just leave that. I feel like it kind of works for this to be the edge of the city because it's a nice narrow sidewalk into trees. And you're never going to be standing here. You'll only ever be standing on the sidewalk. So I don't know. We'll see. Someday, maybe, but that's really not a priority. I really just wanted the city to look a little nicer from this side. So having, you know, this kind of blend into the nature is kind of nice. We should probably bring some dirt up into there and maybe make some of the outcroppings less consistent across the edge. But for now, at least this looks, you know, semi-intentional, which is better than it was. And before you know it, we're going to be right in the middle of an urban wonderland. But let's go sleep. Actually, let's not sleep, because these are Halloween antics, and I feel like night is appropriate. So I've been gone for the last few weeks, as I said, and Lotus did a little Halloween event, and this is the result. I love all of these builds, but first of all, the vibe, I mean, obviously, you know, you make something out of all dark blocks. I forgot that Buzzy was the employee at the motel. I think this is Dan's first build since coming back, or actually, I think he helped with the pumpkin. Yeah, we have this really cool Lotus hotel, and nothing out of the ordinary happening whatsoever inside, so don't worry about that. And I mean, this thing, it just has a vibe. I don't know what it is about it. I think the fact that it's like out of place in the environment just kind of makes it even creepier. Like it just like shouldn't even be in this world, and yet here's this like perfectly preserved little motel. I love that build. The pumpkin obviously looks amazing. Let's see. I feel like actually you can't see it at night, but it is like the perfect pumpkin shape, and the shading on it came out perfectly. Oh crap! We're gonna be safer here at nighttime. And then this is Luma's like spooky forest, and this thing is incredible. Like the glowing in the trees with the purple leaves and the purple tree, the jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, the little pumpkins, the cobwebs. You got some like gravestones. This is just a super cool little spooky expressway. Got the skulk sensors in the ground that kind of spook you when you're walking through here, all the mud. I want to make like a whole, I wish this was a whole biome, honestly. This would be like a super cool Minecraft biome if it was just dark and spooky, and like, it's almost like, I don't know if mystical is even really the right descriptor for it, but it's just a really cool vibe. And I apologize if I've said vibe too many times. I don't like the word either. And then over here we've got Slips. No, this isn't his. This is, oh, I almost spoiled a different build. This is Shram's pumpkin house. I can't remember what the theming of this was. I think it's just a house. Is it just a house? Oh, barrels, always barrels. Yeah, this is Slip's build, as you can tell from the diagonal flowers and the just crazy amount of flowers and pumpkins and detailing. I mean, look at this, like one wall. You got a button, a trap door, scaffolding, signs, you got copper grates, you got barrels, you got stripped wood, you got planks. He likes to use jungle a lot, I've noticed recently. Man, there are a lot of people interrupting me here. Trying to make a Minecraft video. Man, across the texture pack for my skyline as well. This looks amazing. Oh, we got a little rad lizard sitting here on a pumpkin. Cool, cool. The Lotus Motel again. I wonder if they're competing. Is that also a motel, or do we have competing motels here in the Dark Forest? And then the other thing, and the winner of the statue contest, Draconis made this absolutely amazing armor statue like scene. And does this not just look straight out of like Destiny? I don't know the bosses, but I'm assuming it's probably themed after something popular. But this just like really cool battle scene with the aliens and this gun. Let's just try to figure out I can't even figure out what the nozzle of the gun is, but each one of these is an individually placed armor stand to kind of make this is two different ones for two feathers. That just kind of shows you what's going on there. Even this sword, like this is individual stair blocks going up and down here to make that effect. This is a lot of armor stands. I don't even know how he managed to fit this many inside of each other. I feel like I'm not using the mod correctly. Again, this is multiple individual armor stand blocks all adding up into these things. And the elevated ground, he's surrounded. You've got this whole thing just tells like a cool story. They're battling the giant alien monster. He's got a fallen soldier over here. He appears to be cornered and in danger. This guy's up above him like he's gonna pounce. It's just a cool little scene. I wonder if this is like an actual cutscene or if this was just totally inspired. I'm sure he'll let me know down in the comments. We ran out of rockets on the way here. That was silly. I don't know if I have any in my ender chest or not. But yeah, Halloween on Lotus. I kind of missed it. Didn't really get to participate. But oh, and Captain Pineapple built the game, which I have not played yet. And yeah, we've got diamonds in here somewhere. I know that people have been playing it a lot, and I know at one point in time it didn't reset correctly, but I'm assuming whatever that was got fixed. So when the light is on, the game is ready to play. Let's go check this thing out. This game may take up to 2 minutes to reset. Okay, so we only have to wait a while if we want to play it more than once. Reset game before playing. Press if andesite is open. Okay, I guess it must already be reset then. The theoretical best is 17. I'm not seeing any 17s. 2 13s? Do not take, just check the amount. Okay, so this is where our stuff will show up, I guess. And then it probably gets redeposited into the game, I assume. All right, is this more instructions? The aim of the game is to get as many apples as you can within the time limit. You may play as many times as you'd like and record your score on the scoreboard. Check the next page. Whilst the game is active, you need to press as many glowing apples as you can. While the game is active, you need to press as many glowing apples as you can. I guess, well, that'll make more sense when we're in there. Every time you press an apple, another one will light up. You may get repeating apples. You have a time limit of 2 minutes, shorter than you think. Each round costs 1 diamond. The end of the game is indicated by the andesite door opening again and very irritating note blocks ringing. Press the reset button once you are back up top. Have you checked your score? To begin playing, place a diamond in the payment barrel and stand on the andesite doors. The winner will get nothing. Seriously, I have 0 diamonds to my name and I cannot afford a prize. That's fair. But you'll have some serious bragging rights. I feel like I'm probably too late to be a declared winner or loser, but we're still gonna play. Apparently Maddie's gonna come back to do better. All right, that's the reset button. Payment, 1 diamond, and then the door is gonna open. So we need to maybe just understand, press as many glowing apples as you can. I guess that's gonna make more sense when we get in here. We might have to use 1 diamond just to figure it out. Put a diamond in the barrel on the right. Stand on the andesite. Oh, and press the button. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, they shut off. Okay. The note block, I'm assuming? Nothing's happening when I press the note block. Did I break the game? This is what I was worried about. I feel like I remember seeing someone mention that things were broken. 5 apples, so it was working, but they just stopped lighting up. We'll try one more time. Maybe it wasn't reset properly. All right, let's see if that was a fluke, broken, or maybe I was doing it wrong. So we can get repeating apples, so it can be the same apple twice. And it is supposed to switch after you do it. And we did get 5 apples, so apparently right-clicking them was the proper way. I did multiple click a couple times, and I'm wondering if that maybe broke it, so I'll try to just click each one time, but we'll see. Oh, yeah, we should pay again. He did say he was quite desperate for diamonds, so that's the reset button. This is the go button. Let's try again. Respectable. I think that's like what most people got. Second try is 12, and I mean, that puts me in a totally acceptable position, and I wonder if Slip had the same bug that I had, because I also stopped at 5 and was not getting apples anymore. So maybe we'll pretend like that wasn't a fluke. I'll tell you what, that felt sloppy, and I was slow on at least 2 of the clicks. and we got 12. So I think we got to give it at least 1 or 2 more tries. We got to try for that high score because, come on, you got to. Diamond on the barrel on the right. All right, we got to think fast. We got to think speedy. We got to think swimmy. Think fast things. Penguins. Michael Phelps. Dolphins. Let's go. Let's see. That felt worse. It felt worse. I'm thinking we did less than 12. Yep, 11. That's about right. It was sloppy. We had a couple bad spawns up above us, a couple bad spawns down below us. Your positioning was poor. I was a little bit around the corner. I think we need to get back center better. We'll work on it. It's a little bit of technique here. All right, we've got 2 more diamonds. We've already pulled them out of the bank. They're already spent. That's just how Minecraft economics work. Once it leaves your inner chest, you might as well have lost it. You might as well spend it. I mean, that felt as clean as it could be. And the strat of holding the right click and dragging across the note block, that was huge. Is the anticipation killing you? Because it's killing me. But it just feels like it's a big moment. And we really need to sit in it. Now I've just forgotten how my buttons work. All right. 12? Wow. Anticlimactic. Sorry about that. It did feel clean though. I think we have the strategy. We can do it. But I think that 13 is probably the actual max. Because I'm thinking that the last one didn't count in terms of score because we were already timed out. Which means if we had been a millisecond faster, we would have got 13. But to get 14, I just don't know if it's possible. We'll do 1 more diamond. I think the reset's working fine. We're dropping in right off. Let's get it done. 2 more tries. 2 more tries. That's all he's getting out of me. All right, so restock the rocket shop still. I'm thinking there's probably some profits in there. We haven't taken those yet. We got a little bit of a savings. We can afford it. We can afford it. It's fine. I felt like another 12. Maybe it was a 13. It was a clean run. We didn't get anything. We didn't get any like double good easy spawns or anything like that. We got 1 more diamond after this. Let's look real quick. Might be 13. It was clean. 12. Yeah. All right. This is our last one. You got my diamonds. More than I anticipated, but it'll all be worth it after this. I don't know if that last click counted. If not, probably at 11. Yeah. 12. 12 it is. Tried. We did our best. Fun game. I don't know if you've seen Pineapple's other videos, but he actually has a massive PvP game that he was working on. I'm not sure what his plans are or where he's at in that process, but that looks epic as well. So that's good. Oh. I know what this is. Yeah, he's already emptied it. That's probably just the 7 diamonds I just spent. All right, we used up all our rockets getting here. Halloween Town. It's a fun little thing they did. I was gonna say we. I wasn't here. Oh, rest in peace, Sauce. Rest in peace, Cider. I don't know the context there at all. But rest in peace, Sauce and Cider. Oh, there was a costume contest as well, which I totally meant to come vote on and I didn't. So that's on me. I'm pretty sure Pineapple won. I don't know why Lumble Humberjack is everywhere, but I'm guessing that it was just a very fitting Halloween model. I don't think that's Hank Green. All right, we use up our rockets, so we got to walk back to the house. And then we're going to start working on these piglins. There's nothing we need from piglin bartering, but it'll be nice. And I'm guessing we'll be able to sell some like crying obsidian and stuff to people because, I mean, obviously she found some, but anyway, time to walk home. You guessed it, in the rain. Welcome to Lotus. But luckily it's a really short walk. Home, sweet home. I'm thinking it's the, this is kind of silly. It's like, who needs to drive the car when you can bring the place to you? I think we might just put a portal in here and see if we can just snag some piglins real quick through our portal. I'm trying to think of where it's going to be somewhere between Slip's portal and our portal. So it's not a great spot for piglins, but maybe able to just make one in here and then it's just, you know, leading them through and then bang, you're there. But maybe we'll build some stalls real quick. I gotta try to come up with a little design for the teller stations and then we'll build some stalls and then I think we'll just probably build a portal in here. Probably, oh, we don't have rockets. Oh, well, we can still fall in style. Is that Buzz Lightyear? I think it's falling in style. I don't know. It was a good reference and I just totally lost it. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars. Punch this chicken now. I bet I had rockets in my inner chest. That's okay. We didn't need them.
are changing, years fly by out of our control. I get stronger each day, and time is on my side. For you, time is taking its toll, and you're fading away. I guess I don't believe in heroes anymore. You're just another man from another time.
Well, definitely didn't just spend like 2.5 or 3 hours trying to link up nether portals and get a spawning situation set up in the nether, flying around with my elytra, tugging boats, hauling piglins around, just trying to get this thing set up to work, only to find out you can't bring piglins into the overworld. They just automatically turn into zombified piglins. And I knew that at one point in my life, but somehow forgot and still wasted a bunch of time trying to get this thing to work, only to realize it's actually impossible. And it would never have worked. So here we are. Whoops. I mean, I was linking portals. I was upstairs, downstairs. If I can catch the next floor here. Oh, I missed it. Oh, geez. We're going all the way up. I was linking portals. I was going to like drop the piglins down through the floor and stuff. I was doing a bunch of stuff until I eventually gave up on linking portals and decided that I would just start lugging the piglins around in boats. So I was just flying them around with my elytra and boats, and I kept breaking the leads, and they'd go flying off into the lava or do something else ridiculous. Anyway, all that to say, it didn't work, and this cannot be a piglin bartering bank, because that's not a thing you can do in Minecraft. So this is just gonna have to become, I mean, I guess it can still be a zombie piglin bank. A place where you can come deposit your monies to this piglin guy, but it can't be a functional piglin bartering place, unfortunately. But oh well. It would have been cool. Maybe we'll put some like sugarcane farms or something in the upper levels, make some use of this shell of a building, but I kind of lost all my ambition during that process, so we didn't do a very fancy teller station. It's just kind of some concrete blocks to match the walls with some polished andesite teller stations, some torches so nothing spawns in on Bob here, but we could probably fancy it up more, but honestly, I'm over it. We wasted way too much time on that useless project, so it is what it is. Not my favorite build, and a totally unsuccessful conversion of it into a useful structure. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes in Minecraft. It can't always go the way you want. But, next episode, we'll get back, and we'll start making some progress in the city and get some more buildings up. In the next building, we'll plan ahead more and make sure that, you know, we can have something useful with it. Oh well. But, we had a lot of fun this episode. Sometimes, it's the lessons you learn along the way in Minecraft, and at least we got to explore some cool Halloween-themed stuff we kind of missed out on the server when it actually happened, but you know what? It was just as cool after the fact. And yeah, if you made it this far in the episode, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. Hey, how's it going? Well, this is not how I expected this episode to start. It appears that I did not log off, and we are now on our way back to our base to find out if I've lost all of my inventory. Again, this will be the third time that I've done this, if that is what happened. Something about switching back and forth from the old school world to the server, I just always forget that this game doesn't pause when you hit escape. And it does in single player. So yeah, we're about to find out if we have to re-gear again. I think we were over here somewhere in front of the piggy bank. Oh geez, other people have been here. I wonder if they saw my stuff. Well, at least we've got some people hanging out in our bank. Draconis, Maddie, and Pug. And, you know, Mr. Pig. You know, they're all hanging out here, but I think they're going to be a little bit more excited to hang out in our next build, which is going to be slightly delayed now. But that's okay, because we technically already have all the resources for it. That is one thing that I did do ahead of time. So on the stream the other night, I grabbed the rest of the stuff we needed, which was some andesite and some quartz, and the rest of the terracotta. Slip actually did donate us a good chunk of terracotta. I just randomly found it over here in our building. I don't know that I've been inside of this build since we built it, but apparently Slip had stopped by at some point and finally delivered the cyan terracotta he had talked about a long time ago. I mean, he could have done it weeks ago, honestly. I just haven't been in that building. It was very discreet. But we got that, and then a little bit more we had to buy off of him, so he got a little double dip there. We bought some dye from the shops. We bought all of Draconis' quartz, which we're currently working on the nether hub for the server, and it's like 95% quartz. I feel a little bit bad buying out his stock immediately after we're starting that project, but hey, we got to get it done. And I think that I may expand my trader some, so I can probably help get us the rest of the way in the cords there anyway. And we also did deliver all of the basalt needed for the server so far, so it's not like we're not helping with the nether hub, you know? All right, let me get my gear back real quick. And then we'll start building the next build in the city. I've got an idea for the build. It's hotel-ish, but I want to do something very specific with the downstairs and the lobby area. And those of you that are here from the old school world, I think you'll be a fan. See you in a minute.
That you'll be the death of me. I'm falling, you're letting me touch my hand and my whole body goes haywire. Yeah, you got me giving the best of me. I'm kissing the enemy. Yeah, I know it's gonna sting when things start crumbling, but you look at me for long enough and I'll forget to run. Oh, if I'm gonna crash and burn.
And there it is, the Mystery Hotel. Don't worry, it's not going to be a mystery for too long. We'll get there this episode. But this building has a purpose, and I'm not ready to disclose it yet. But right now, it's just an empty shell. Now, first things first, we got to get this thing an interior. I don't have all of that worked out yet, but don't worry. All that cyan terracotta that we got from Slip, we're going to use that for the walls. But this is all going to get completely coated with cyan terracotta, which is going to reduce our like internal usable area a little bit. But it's not like we need 100 guests to stay at the hotel, so I think if we have a hallway on the back wall here, so you like take your stairs up and down, then you've got a hallway, and then, you know, maybe a room and a room, so 2 rooms per floor, a few floors. But the real magic of this place is I want to do something special with this downstairs area. I want to have like a check-in area, maybe like a lounging seating area, and then something else that I can't disclose. And I'm going to beat around this bush until we get there. But hopefully I can get that all accomplished in, you know, a reasonable amount of time. But it'll be done when it's done. That's my new outlook on Minecraft creations. You can't rush these things. So I need to go grab some materials and do a little bit of planning for this little inside area. But the outside of the building, I guess I should fly around real quick and give you a little sneak peek. The only thing that I'm not the most fond of right now is this little rooftop area. It kind of looked a little too flat before, but now I'm not loving this like big lip. I like the skylight, I like that you can see all the way through on each floor and all that stuff, but this is like maybe a little bit too chonky, if that makes sense. From like up here it looks really weird. From the ground it's not necessarily. I mean, you can kind of barely tell, but I think we just knocked that lip off. There's really no reason to have this little like counter set area, but the back of the building's very similar. This like jut out piece is actually technically 1 block less on the backside, just to accommodate the sidewalk, so we could fit the building into the area. And I wanted to like preserve as much of like the wall to wall space, so we couldn't make this stick out quite as far, but it still sticks out enough to give like the building some like dimensionality. Is that a word? Did I just make that word up? Yeah, it's kind of cool. You can see our staircase kind of crosses the windows as it goes up. That was a cool effect. Little andesite, gravel, stone action for the kind of concrete base. And it was a hotel, and I was supposed to be like a fancier hotel, so I went with a lot of quartz, which, I don't know, it sticks out quite a bit, especially next to our really dark tower over there. And then we're gonna have to really think about what we put here. It's gonna have to be, I think we're gonna have to go with another totally different palette to kind of make it seem intentionally not the same. And then the other thing I want to do this episode is put in streetlights. So I'm gonna go gather, I think we're gonna do like polished deep slate or something possibly. We need like a dark block for sure. And then the street light itself is gonna be shrim lights, I think. So we'll see how that looks. I've seen ones where they build them off the sidewalk and they kind of extend way out over the road. But I think I want to make mine in kind of the similar style to how I build a lot of stuff. It's like bulky, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, like the stout kind of like shrunk down builds. But you kind of have like 2 methods in Minecraft, or a few methods obviously when you're building. You can make stuff bigger, which allows you to get like more intricate and more detail, or you make it smaller and you kind of have to let the player envision what it should be, if that makes sense. Kind of like I guess similar to like pixel art, if that makes sense. Or you do what I do and make it smaller, but still try to get too much detail in it, which is what we're gonna do with these streetlights. So hopefully they don't look too blobby, but we'll see. All right, I gotta get some rockets. I'll get some shroom lights and some smooth deep slate, and we'll see what these things look like. We've got a lot of them to build, so we gotta be at least semi-happy with the design, because we're probably gonna build like 100 of these in the city. Well, this is definitely dangerous to be out right now, but I like it. It's a good vibe. I went with the pearlescent frog lights. It's a little purpley. I didn't like how yellow the yellow ones were. I think it's the right color. It just gives us another kind of color shade in the city, but yeah, they feel a little close together, but I guess the frog lights don't give off a huge amount of light, so mobs could spawn in the blank spaces, so I had to kind of bunch them up a little bit, but that's alright. I think we need more stuff on the streets to kind of make the city feel full. I did also push them to like the front block, so like this is in the corner, this is right on the edge. Originally I had them here, but again, that meant that the middle of the road, like mobs could spawn straight down the middle of the road, which was not ideal either. So this is the compromise. A little closer together than I'd want them. I mean, we don't need to spawn proof the city, but I think, you know, it's in our best interest considering we had 2 creepers blow up on us in this place when we were building it. So for now, a little closer together and a little closer to the road than I wanted them originally, but at least you can still kind of walk down the sidewalk and it gives you a little obstacle course, I guess. And I think when we get these all over the streets, the whole city is going to start to it's going to have a little bit more of a feeling of doneness to it, if that makes sense. But all right, I'm going to throw up some more street lights and I'm going to throw in like at least the outlines for the rooms upstairs, and then I'll check back in when we have a design for the mystery project. Don't you want to keep watching? And here we are, streetlights installed. At least most of them. I didn't do over there in the unfinished area of the city, and I didn't do all the way along the long stretch that runs back there, but I'll get to those. We've got some Vote Margaret signs literally everywhere. I don't know if we saw them earlier in the episode, but they are everywhere. I've done some more walking around, and I don't think there's one building left unscathed from the Margaret campaign, so just putting on a real boots in the ground effort, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, streetlights are up. I did these double ones for the corners. I don't know that I like them. It almost looks a little evil, a little Transformer vibey. I'm not sure. I might just switch back to the single post. They're a little blocky and a little chunky, but I don't know. I didn't want to do the longer style ones that kind of go out over the road. I like that they like shine down on the sidewalk. I wish that I didn't have to push them right flat against the road like this, because I do think it would be nicer if they were back. But again, we were going to get mobs spawning in the road if we didn't do that. But yeah, streetlights are up. And the hotel is done. We've now got a beautiful little red carpet entryway here with our beds and our red wool. Our door is oxidizing. Whoopsies. That's okay. We'll fix that later. I actually don't have any wax or anything. We've got our little check-in booth here. I actually meant to put some item frames with paper in them, but I forgot. Come back and do that later, I'm sure. This is where the employees work. It's a very nice room. Yep. I guess I could put some shelves or something in here, but there's no reason they would ever come in here, so. You can't finish 100% of every build, you know? A little check-in counter and then a little nice hotel lounge bar where we can hang out, chill, have some brews. Anyway, got some nice art on the walls. I brought the ceiling down a little bit here. So these are slabs and I brought these down to full blocks. I thought it kind of helped make it feel like a nice little cozy area. We got pretty lucky here with the walls. So these are cyan terracotta. And then we have on the outside is like this, you know, andesite stone kind of bulky base we put on the building, so it kind of allowed us to do the the interior wall as the sign, and then we had this kind of like a fascia. That's what we'd call it in the real world, I think. Yeah. And then upstairs is kind of pseudo finished. There's nothing in the rooms, but they're blocked out. I need to go put some doors on these and stuff, but you've got enough room for probably a bed, a little like end table, maybe some bookshelves in the back wall, a little like writing desk. We'll come back through and decorate these in the future, I think. You got this cool little tunnel that goes all the way up. You can't quite see. I kind of want to get rid of the handrail just so you can come out here and you kind of peek up. There's a skylight. When you come in the doorway, if you look straight up, you can see up the skylight. Anyway, continuing up from here, they're all pretty much the same. You've got your wood plank from the roof above. And again, you've got 2 rooms per floor, and I think there's 4 floors of these rooms. I had to put lanterns in the stairwells as well because we were also getting mobs spawning in here. Did have a few creepers spawn during the construction of this building, and then I ran out of cyan terracotta on the very last room. So we gotta get some more cyan terracotta to finish that up, but honestly, we'll probably never walk up those stairs again after this episode, because that's just kind of how it goes in Minecraft. But yeah, up here you've got a cool view of our original build in the city. Our 3 brick buildings, the library. So far, this has been like the coolest part about building the city, is especially as we add more and more buildings, having this like vantage point where you can see the other builds and it actually feels like you're in a building. And I think once we get some more tall buildings on this side where you can see them out these back windows, it's also going to be a really cool effect as you're like going up the stairs and there's just like buildings. I'm pretty excited for that. Yeah, another build done. And I feel pretty good about this one. Oh, man, that oxide, you know, you can't get copper to oxidize in the real world. We managed to get this door to do like 2 state changes in the moment that I was filming this one scene. We got a little flippy bar here. Oh, whoops, I did it the wrong way. Well, that doesn't work very well. Well, that's all right. Whoever we put back there as a bartender is there forever, so that's not too big of a deal. And that pretty much sums it up, I think. Oh yeah, there was one more thing for this building, and I was kind of linking back to the other buildings we had put up where, you know, you gotta kind of have a purpose for a building, and like, if not a purpose, a why or a what or a reason or some kind of lore to kind of anchor it in your world. Like, why is this building here and why would we ever use it? And yeah, I think I found a perfect reason for this one. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one. How's it going, Greg? It's been a while. Yeah? How was it journeying over here? A little bit of a hike to the old school world. Yeah, did you come on the water? Yeah. Hey, I probably should have mentioned this before you got all settled in, but actually, I think we're going to the old school world next episode, so yeah. Have to get back on that boat. Thanks for stopping by, though. Good seeing you. Hey, how's it going? Well, we gotta get some homes built in the city. We've got a bank, a hotel, a nice library, but there's nowhere for anyone to live. That's what we're working on today. Because what's the point of a cool city if there's nowhere to live? Before we get to building, there's a few things we gotta collect. First, we're gonna head to the trade district, do a little shopping. I know Draconis has got bricks. Gotta swing by the dye shop, wanna make some stained glass windows, and then I wanna see if the log shop sells nether wood or not. I think we're gonna go with some warp wood for the ceiling. Just a couple accent pieces. Alright, let's go shopping. I know Pineapple isn't here on the server anymore, but you really did create a beautiful little place here. I wonder if Mini Cubs catch any fish there. He's been at it for a while. Trade district looks a little different than it did in the past. This little corner here by Slip Shop is just about the only part that's still purple. We've greenified a lot of the shopping area, and man, it looks so much better. Turns out, mycelium is kind of an ugly block. First stop was a success. Draconis was all stocked up on bricks. I'm gonna swing up by the wind charge shop, see if we've made any sales. I can't believe it, but someone bought out all the name tags again. It's funny, I threw those in the shop as a joke early in the season and it sold like hotcakes. Don't mind this little detour. One of these beacons is giving speed boost, and it just totally throws me off. This dye shop may be the best thing on the entire server. It's usually the biggest reason that I won't use different blocks in Minecraft is getting all the different colors and dyes is always such a hassle, but having them readily available like this, it's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, Chesapeake didn't have any nether wood, but I think we've got some more down in the basement, so we should be alright. It's not very much that we need for this build. Next thing we're going to need is deep slate. Somehow I've gone through every piece of my cobbled deep slate. Down in the mines, start digging away. That'll work up a sweat. Alright, we've got all our dyes, we've got all our bricks, we've got our deep slate. Next thing we need is some greenery. I think we're gonna head up around the coast, see if we can find some vines in the jungle. I know if we head north of here, up the coast, past Skippers, there's a jungle over there somewhere. It's been a long time since I've been up that way, but I think we'll find it. You wouldn't believe it, but last week, there was a mountain here. as I pulled up to this place, something fell off. I don't know what it was. The whole area just gives me the creeps. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I had to go poking around. Just wanted to see what these buildings could be, and why they were in the condition they were in. Well, high and low. Didn't find any signs of life. I don't know what happened here. It doesn't look good. I think we'll take our vines and get out of here. I know it's been said 1,000 times now, but sometimes you just gotta take those elytra wings off and get around the world the old-fashioned way. It takes a little getting used to at first, but you take those elytra off, and all of a sudden the world just feels bigger. Alright, we've got our shopping done, we've got our deep slate, and we've got our vines. That checks off all the stuff we were missing for the build. It's getting late tonight though. I'm gonna swing over to Greg's hotel and have a few brews at the bar. We'll probably sleep there and then we can wake right up and get to building. How's it going, Greg? Yeah, it's been a busy day. Busy couple days, actually. How you handling the commute back and forth between the old school world? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a big one. Takes a little bit to get here. Hard to believe I've been building here in the city for 7 months now. Haven't got as much done as I thought I would, but we're making progress here. I don't know how you do it. There's nothing like a Greg's brew. Anyway, while I got you here, Greg, why don't we talk through some plans for the rest of the city? Got a few ideas I want to bounce off you.
Turning the pages of my life. I don't know what the age is. I start sounding outrageous in your eyes. Is it the passing of the seasons, passing of the time? Looking for a reason and what you left behind. Searching for the answers, pulling on a string. You just let go of everything. Come see what tomorrow just might bring. Barking like a dog in my own reflection. No self, no sense
here's the thing. Not every build can be your favorite. Sometimes you gotta try new stuff, and sometimes you just gotta put blocks down. You're not always gonna love the result, and if it's really, really bad, you can always tear it down. Sometimes builds just need iteration over time. Sometimes you just need to change out a block here and there. This is one of those builds that it never quite felt right for me. We'll decorate it over time, add more detail. Maybe we'll change out the trim around the windows. But you gotta remember when you're working on a scale like this, it's just another building in the city. Sometimes builds grow on you over time. Sometimes they grow off over time. It's all about the process. Not my favorite build I've ever made, but it's one of them. And hey, just getting something built, gotta count for something. And there it is. Place to live in our city. We've only got about 3 months left here to get this city built. We're gonna have to make some serious progress in the next few weeks. I think the next building's gonna be big. Like, really big. We'll see. If you like what we got going on here, I'd appreciate it if you gave the video a like. And if you want to see more of it, subscribe. Computers here in Minecraft are a little slow. It's a lot of work to get these episodes out. Speaking of, I better get to work editing all this footage down. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good one.